Zoning Board of Appeals meeting to order. Can I start with a roll call?
Barbara Bartson.
James Meyer.
Aziz Asim.
Norma Drummond?
Tara Franco.
Thank you. Can I ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, our future meetings, a reminder for board members and for the public. Normally we meet the second Tuesday, but the second Tuesday in September is primary day. So town hall will be being used for elections. So the zoning board meeting in September will be on Wednesday. Please, especially for board members, mark your calendars because it always throws us off. So, and then Tuesday, October, we'll be back to the Tuesday meeting. We had received minutes for the meeting of July 8th. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
And Pam, Tara's going to abstain? Okay, so those are okay. All right. Our first order of business is we have a public hearing that we had opened before. We're going to continue that public hearing. Then we'll start new public hearings, which will be the first time any of the neighbors will have an opportunity to comment on any of the applications before us. These are applications that this board has reviewed before, so it'd be an opportunity for us to hear any concerns you may have, because we recognize you probably know these properties better than us looking at them on a map, or what we're familiar with. The third part of our meeting will be reviews, and these are really going to be new applications that the board will be seeing really for the first time. So that will not be an opportunity this evening for any public comment on those applications except the specific applicant. So with that being said, I'll start with item number 1, which is Appeal 3683 Orthopedic Associates. This is an adjourned public hearing. Orthopedic Associates, being represented by Chase & Companies, is requesting a 50-foot front line variance for a proposed 12,000 square foot medical building to be located at 1955 Route 52, Hopewell Junction, as well as a 25-foot landscape buffer variance for the site pursuant to Section 194-116B of the zoning ordinance and Note 11 of the bulk regulations. Do I have a motion to reconvene the public hearing?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so when we last saw this last month, we did hear from several of the neighbors, and it was really, their concerns at last month's meeting were much more related to the issues that the planning board would have reviewed. However, we recognize that the planning board was still conducting their review process. I understand they have closed their public hearing. Have they actually issued a decision, or they're waiting for us to?
They've approved the neg deck.
They've approved the neg deck, so they're waiting for us to approve your variance so that they can give site plan approval.
Correct.
All right, so are there any, again, with the issue, this is the former Junction 52 restaurant. So the building is not, was an existing non-conforming use on the property in terms of the landscape buffer.
In a setback.
A setback, right, from the road. And so you're looking to replace it with a new building.
Correct.
New landscaping, new parking area behind the building specifically for the doctors that gives them their own access. And so you're looking to continue the setback that's there currently, and you're looking for the variance associated with a reduced landscape buffer.
Correct. Currently, there is no landscaping on the site.
Right. And you'll provide a 25-foot.
Yes, and that's actually, the minimum's increased to 27 feet since I was last before the board.
Okay.
As part of our measures to trying to reduce the impervious on the site to address some of the concerns the neighbors raised about the runoff in the area.
Okay. All right. So are there any other comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against Orthopedic Associates, represented by Chase & Companies, requesting a 50-foot front line variance for a proposed 12,000 square foot medical building to be located at 1955 Route 52, and as well as a 25-foot landscape buffer variance? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the resolution?
Jim, you wanna go?
In reference to appeal number 3683 by the applicant Orthopedic Associates, seeking a 50-foot front line variance and are we reducing that request on the landscape?
Leave it at 27.
Like 25?
To 23?
Yeah, are we reducing it to 23? Is that what
Yeah,
you've said?
We've reduced it to 23
Okay.
feet.
And a
Yes.
23-foot landscape buffer variance for proposed 12,000 square foot medical building to be located at 1955 Route 52, Hopewell Junction. And the resolution being offered by zoning board member James Meyer. And whereas the applicant has applied to the zoning board for a 50-foot front line variance for a proposed 12,000 square foot medical building and a 23-foot landscape buffer variance for the site pursuant to section 194-116B of the zoning ordinance and note 11 of the bulk regulations. And whereas this is a type 2 action under SEQA and no further action is required, and whereas the legal notice was duly published in the Southern Dutchess News on June 25th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on July 8th and August 12th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as this is a commercial zone and the use is allowed. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, as the appellant has explained that they need the building located as it is due to the installation requirements for the MRI and X-ray machines, where the variance request is not substantial, and whereas the proposed area of variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request made by Orthopedic Associates for a 50-foot front line variance for a proposed 12,000 square foot medical building to be located at 1955 Route 52, Hopewell Junction, as well as a 23-foot landscape buffer variance for the site pursuant to section 194-116B of the zoning ordinance and note 11 of the bulk regulations. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of this adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the owner applicant.
Before we vote on it, it's not a type 2, right? The planning board did an ATEC?
Thank you. We do need to worry about type 2. So this is a type 2 action.
Well, we did a
Coordinated.
Well, we didn't do a coordinated review. The planning board did a coordinated review, but didn't
We say
include
that the
us.
planning board did a coordinated review.
Are we covered by the planning board's
I think
findings?
the next, did it recite, do you think, the variance is being sought? Probably should have.
I believe it did.
Yeah, I think secret's completed on the planning board side.
The site plan would have shown the landscape buffer, the setback of the building, et cetera.
Correct.
Okay, so let's
So whereas-
recognize that the planning board has adopted an egg deck associated with the proposed site plan for this
And
development.
that would complete secret first with that action by
Yeah.
the planning board.
So whereas this application has had a
Was
coordinated,
subject,
or subject to a coordinated review by the town planning board, and no further action is required by this board,
related to seeker.
related to SEQA, yes. And said resolution being, again, offered as amended.
Second.
Is there a second? Thank you, Barbara. So votes as follows: Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Karen's here.
Tara's not absent. Aye. Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye, so your motion carries.
Thank you very
Okay,
much.
so you're all set. I didn't get it all, but you can, I got you started.
Thank you.
All right,
Do they anticipate that?
so now we
I
have,
didn't know that. Out of curiosity.
not, just regular public hearings. So I have item number 2, Appeal 36708, Beausoleil, William Beausoleil, owner of Ivy Hall Estate, Bikenhill House, 21 Bikenhill Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting an interpretation of Section 194-64 historic structures, as well as a variance to allow an accessory apartment in an accessory building built after 1985 to facilitate the support and maintenance of this historic site, which was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1991 pursuant to Section 194-91D1. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, okay, now just a note for this one, we did have a previous public hearing that we had closed, but because of our subsequent review, just because of our misunderstanding of what was going on with the National Register, because there are historic structures on this property, and trying to understand all the different buildings and the uses therein, it was noted that there is a building on the grounds that has an accessory apartment use that did need a variance for its
Correct.
accessory residential use to be continued. So that was why the board reopened the public hearing. So related to either of the issues, the interpretation of historic structure or the accessory apartment, are there any questions from board members? No, seeing none, is there anyone here to speak for or against Bikenhill House requesting an interpretation of Section 194-64 historic structures, as well as a variance to allow an accessory apartment in an accessory building built after 1985 to facilitate the support and maintenance of the historic site? Seeing none, can I recommend that we close and reserve, because this is one we're going to want to write the decision carefully on.
Okay.
We've had multiple discussions about whether historic structures qualifies. The fact that the town code calls for it to be a single building, but in your case, the National Register actually recognizes the entire site. I think we have to make sure that that gets added into the summary, and then there was a discussion about the potential allowed uses and whether it was an interpretation of and or, and I think the board was pretty much in agreement that we could allow multiple uses within there.
Okay.
So if, I think we'd rather err on the safe side and let's just make sure the decision gets everything we need to. So do I have a motion to close and reserve?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, good. So next
So
month-
your next meeting.
You don't have
I
to be here next
but the
month,
decision will
but the
be.
decision should be, we technically have 62 days allowed, but we do try to get it done at the next meeting.
Okay, very
Okay.
good. Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, item number 3, Appeal 3681, Jose and Maria Antonio, Flagler Road, Hopewell Junction, are requesting a 47-foot rear line variance for an existing 12-foot 3 by 12-foot 3 shed and a 10-foot front line variance for the dwelling, which was built in the 1980s pursuant to Section 194-107 and 194-121 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Aye. Okay, we did see this one last month. So the original question we had was related to that structure that we also saw in the driveway. You've cleared up that there, even though it was showing up in an aerial, there was no additional structure there anymore.
That's correct.
All right, just catching up with what we covered last time around. You gave us pictures last time. There's one shed against the back of the, okay, because there were additional sheds on this property. That's why have to get refreshed. So this, really the shed that's there now that you're looking to keep is all the way in the back of the property, and that its condition doesn't allow it to be moved safely, or
That's correct.
which again, we need to get on the record since it's the public hearing. Why should the shed not be moved? So if you can tell us that as opposed to my saying it for you.
Sure, yeah, one is definitely the condition, we're not sure that it's going to remain intact if we try to move it. The other is, we could move, if it were to be moved to the middle of the property, that's where the septic tank and the leach fields are.
Right.
And to place it up against the back of the house, to be in conformance with the zoning code about sheds being in the backyard, there's a deck back there, there's already an attached shed, the propane tanks, and there's windows on the back side of the house.
Right, and we were concerned that if you, even though we asked if you put it against the house, it would actually be blocking the windows and the view, negating any natural light coming in.
That's
So
correct.
the question is, if it's not likely to survive moving it, is the shed really still needed?
They're still using it for storage, yes.
Okay. Again, just important to get that on the record. So, are there any comments or questions from board members?
I'm okay.
Again, it's a wide lot rather than a deep lot, so that you don't have a whole lot of backyard to play with in this case. So it does present limited opportunities for its ability to go pretty much anywhere else. Nobody? All right, is there anyone here to speak for or against Jose and Maria Antonio, 15 Flagler Road, requesting a 47-foot rear line variance for an existing 12-foot 3 by 12-foot 3 shed and a 10-foot front line variance for the dwelling, which was built in the 1980s? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Tara?
Appeal number 3681, applicant is Jose and Maria Antonio. They're looking for a 47-foot rear variance for an existing 12-foot 3-inch by 12-foot 3-inch shed and a 10-foot front line variance for the dwelling at 15 Flagler Road in Hopewell, tax map number 6357047482551, R1 zone district. Resolution offered by zoning board member Tara Franco, whereas the applicant has applied to the zoning board for a 47-foot rear variance for an existing 12-foot 3-inch by 12-foot 3-inch shed and a 10-foot front line variance for the dwelling, which was built in the 1980s pursuant to section 194-107 and 194-121 of the zoning ordinance. Whereas this action is a type 2 action under secret and no further action is required. Whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on July 30th, 2014. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 12, 2014. Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, as the house has been there since the 1980s and was built in this location, and the shed is tucked away and can't be seen. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means. The variance requested is not substantial. The proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect on or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request made by Jose Maria Antonio, 15 Flagler Road, Hopewell Junction, for a 47-foot rear line variance for an existing shed and a 10-foot front line variance for the dwelling, which was built in the 1980s. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy to be sent to the applicant or owner.
Okay, it's second? I just wanted to make sure the type 2 action was in there, and it's in there.
Second.
Seconded.
All right, votes as follows. Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Tara?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye, so your motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, item number 4, 3684 Kulisek. Rudolph and Yvonne Kulisek, 317 Rushmore Road, Stormville, are requesting a 24-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 6-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
Aye.
All right, we did discuss with you last month what you were asking for. This is a shed that is literally within a foot of your backyard, right, of your property line in the back. It's probably been there, I think you told us, it's been there about 14 or 15 years. You did put it there yourselves.
Yes.
But, you know, you're recognizing now that it wasn't necessarily the appropriate place. Again, it's important for us to get on the record alternatives in terms of, it's very close to your property line. And so why was it not more appropriate to be in the back of directly behind your home?
We didn't want to put it on a leach field or a septic system.
That's what we needed to get on the record, thank you. All right, and we have pictures of it, so you've given us pictures so that we see that it blends in with the home. It's just got the same siding as what your home is, so it fits within the character of what's there. All right, any comments or questions from board members?
I'm okay.
Is there anyone here to speak for or against the appeal by Rudolph and Yvonne Kulisek, 317 Rushmore Road, Stormville, requesting a 24-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 6-foot shed? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And?
All right, this is appeal number 3684. Applicant is Rudolph and Yvonne Kulisek. The project name is 24-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 6-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. The location is 317 Rushmore Road in Stormville. Resolution offered by zoning board member Barbara Barosa. Whereas the applicant has applied to the zoning board for a 24-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 6-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Whereas this action is a type 2 action under seeker and no further action is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on July 30th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 12th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, the desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, the variance requested is not substantial, and the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request made by Rudolph and Yvonne Kulisek, 317 Rushmore Road, Stormville, for a 24-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 6-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board should cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Tara?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye. So your motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you.
Okay? Have a good evening. Okay. Item number 5, Appeal 3685 Creaney. Allison Creaney, 66 Hidden Acres Road, Stormville, is requesting a variance to allow a proposed 12-foot by 24-foot shed to be located in front of the dwelling pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
Open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All right, so we did discuss this one last month. You have a different situation in that you have 2 front yards.
I'm on a corner.
Yeah, you're on a corner, so you end up having 2 front yards.
Yeah.
Which affects your ability to where you can place things. Plus, from the rear line of your house to the edge of your property is actually only 58 feet. So a 12-foot shed, even if you attached it to the back of your house, is regardless going to need a variance.
Yeah.
We discussed the use of the shed, because, and you mentioned that you do kayaking, and so it's needed for not for motor vehicles,
No.
but it's needed for.
Well,
this-
lawnmower.
Yeah, but that's.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
That's different. That's an
Yeah.
appropriate use for a shed. But that the kayaks, the storage of those makes it appropriate. Subsequent to our meeting, I did hear from a neighbor that there's somebody in the house that fixes cars in that driveway.
My son's a diesel mechanic.
Okay, and so we need to ask the question, we need to get it on the record. There's not a business being conducted, but that
business.
it's a pleasurable
No.
activity, and it's a typical,
Yeah,
you know.
it's a family thing. Yeah, it's family.
Okay, so cars, you know,
Yeah,
it's
and they're
not a
his
business,
cars,
and
yeah.
the
He's
use
got a
of the
race car
shed
and- yeah.
is not related to the,
Not at all.
garage repair or anything like that.
No, we have a 2-car garage for that.
Again, it's important for us to get that on the records,
Okay.
just in case, anybody has any issue in the future as we looked at this. Comments or questions from board members?
I do have a question. Sure. What's in the back of the lot, like near the property line, is that there?
On the back of the lot? My neighbor's property's right up against mine, and it's in foreclosure right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, do you have maybe a fenced-in garden or something?
Yeah, that's my garden.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. Is there any kind of structure back there? It's just a little fence?
No, it's a, you know, a picket fence around the garden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that could just be a
Yeah, that's the
cleared area of
fence.
soil
Yeah.
or something, because these are usually taken when there's no leaves on the trees. Okay.
and there seems to be a shed right behind the
Yes.
garden area.
That's a little aluminum, like a 9x9.
Is that yours or somebody else's?
That, my neighbor gave it to me.
But it's
Oh,
behind the
yeah,
garden?
it's right behind it.
So it's on your property line?
Yeah.
Okay, do you have a variance for that?
No, that's coming down because it collapsed last year. So it's
Oh.
just metal structure right there.
Is it gone?
No, we have
now?
to take that out. So everything in there is going in the other one.
We can make a condition.
Okay, yeah, so, okay. So that will not continue, we're not going to grant a variance for that, so that can't,
No,
that
no, no,
cannot
no,
stay.
that's like an erected
Okay.
set.
All right, any other comments or questions from board members?
I'm good.
Seeing none, is there anyone here to speak for or against Allison Creaney, 66 Hidden Acres Road, Stormville, requesting a variance to allow a proposed 12-foot by 24-foot shed to be located in front of the dwelling? Yes? Come on up to the microphone. Mrs. Creaney, we're going to ask you to take a step back.
Good evening. My name is John Curzio. I'm a neighbor of the Craneys. I fully support their decision to build a shed on their property and ask the board to approve their permit. I believe that the regulations on town residents have far exceeded their boundaries and firmly believe that said regulations should be rolled back immediately. Therefore, I call for an immediate public hearing for the repeal of these burdensome and unnecessary government regulations. Thank you.
Could you please sign your name?
Yeah, you got to sign it.
No, right there, right there.
You can I just tell you, you can bring that to the town board? All right, that's not the purview of this board, okay? Anybody else? Okay, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye. Same, yeah, take this one.
Yeah. In reference to appeal number 3685, the applicant is Allison Creaney. Name of project is the proposed 12-foot by 24-foot shed be located in front of the dwelling pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance, located at 66 Hidden Acres Road, Stormville. Resolution being offered by zoning board member James Meyer. Excuse me. And whereas the applicant has applied to the zoning board to allow a proposed 12-foot by 24-foot shed to be located in the front of the dwelling pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. And whereas this action is a type 2 action under SEQR and no further action is required. And whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on July 30, 2014. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 12, 2014. And whereas the applicant has identified that there's an existing metal shed along the rear property line, which applicant has declared will be removed. And whereas then the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means. The variance requested is not substantial. The proposed area variance would not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request made by Allison Creaney, 66 Hidden Acres Road, Stormville, for a variance to allow the proposed 12-foot by 24-foot shed be located in front of the dwelling pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance, and being it further resolved that said approval is subject to the existing metal shed along the rear property line being removed by the applicant, and be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Second.
Thank you. I'm just writing the extra
I'm writing it out here.
okay, thank you. Caveat that, okay, so with that amendment to the resolution that we had in front of us, votes as follows: Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Tara? Aye. Barbara? And myself, aye. All right, so your motion carries. And a reminder, that shed will come down.
Oh, no, please. Can I just have my other shed delivered now?
You just gotta get your building permit,
Okay.
okay?
How do I get that?
You can go to the building department tomorrow.
Okay, because I already got a building permit, and then we had to come back and do this, so I have to get another one?
You got a building permit for this shed? Or you have
What did I
you have a
came-
second shed behind your home?
Yeah, that's coming down. For this shed,
You already have the permit?
I came in,
I don't think they would have issued a permit.
oh, okay, so.
You might have applied for
I
it,
applied
and they
for it.
told you you had to come here first.
Okay, okay.
All right, so yeah.
So,
if
okay,
you-
so I come back, okay. I'll see you
Yes.
Monday. Thank you.
All right, pass that down. Jim's writing it all out.
Thank you.
All right, number 6, Appeal 3687, Donald Cottle, 138 Stormville Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting an 11-foot sideline variance for a proposed 12-foot by 24-foot shed pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Should I have a motion to open the public hearing? So moved. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Oh,
Aye.
sorry.
Geez, you weren't there with
No,
me.
I'm talking about the water.
Providing
All
medical
right.
attention.
All right, Mr. Cottle, we did see you last month, you had a discussion, you do have an existing 5-foot by 5-foot shed on your property that you are looking to replace with this larger structure. You'd like to keep the structure in the same place, essentially in the same general area of the existing shed. We actually talked about the fact that you had a couple open permits that probably preceded your purchase of the property. Were you able to get those resolved?
We
or-
have looked into that. No, it's not been resolved yet.
Okay, all right, it's not really a violation on our part, right? Can we take action if those aren't resolved?
They should be resolved. We generally have a rule that we don't process them under violation, but you're indicating it was done before.
Mary, the building department clearly, sorry, wrong Mary. The building department was here last month and clearly said that they preceded his purchase of the property.
Yeah,
And
they said
so,
that he had to renew a 1976 building permit.
Right.
Close that out.
I wasn't aware that this project was contingent on the resolution of that.
it shouldn't be, well, I
Shouldn't
shouldn't
be.
say that. It's,
Generally, we do.
we do try to
Especially-
not have anything outstanding.
Okay.
Even if you
Okay?
first
Well, I'm not, as long as it's in this venue, we're not opposed to it being inspected, but we feel this oversight was certainly not our fault. I've been advised
Oh,
that.
no, we understand that.
Yeah, I've been advised that the title company actually comes to the towns looking for open permits like this.
Right.
And we had this title checked at least 3 times since we've been in the house, and it has never come up in any title searches, despite them coming to the town looking for open documents.
Right.
I don't have a problem with the inspection, but we certainly feel the fee should be waived.
Well, you probably have cause to go to your title company and,
Well, they had said basically that they came to the town, and the town didn't give them anything that indicated there was an open permit.
What they're going to do, that's not a title issue, it's a municipal departmental search issue, and they're probably going to tell you they have a $1,000 liability, but that's something for you to review.
I'm sorry,
You should talk to your title company about this. They're probably going to offer a defense that when it comes to searching departmental records in a municipality, they have a $1,000 or so cap on the liability. But it's something you should pursue, and talk to your attorney you close with, and let them check into it.
Okay. Well, I would request that this project not be held up based on that.
Again, as has been mentioned, we don't want open permits left while we are approving something else. So we try to clean it up in one setting. And so that's been our posture for years and years. So, and there's no reason, any hardship or an exception that we can make at this point. You were aware of it last time, the building department was.
Yeah, but I
very
wasn't
explicit.
told, sir,
Yeah, he
that this
wasn't-
was contingent on
We
this.
did not say it was contingent on. So he's absolutely correct in that statement. That doesn't mean we can't close and reserve and await the action, after we get some comments.
But then,
You know,
we
I have
can
no
have a
problem not opening up another building permit for this proposed shed, but I think this variance should be considered on its merits.
Well, we're certainly going to consider it on its merits. The question is, does the policy get waived? Your argument certainly has a lot of validity to it. It doesn't mean that it's not a problem that needs to be addressed.
Okay, the building department identified it as an open permit.
Right.
They didn't necessarily say that it was a violation, except that clearly it's an expired permit because it goes back to
Because
so
I think
long
the words they
ago.
used was they had to renew the 76 building permit.
To be able to get the
Right.
inspection
Right,
completed
right.
and for the town to be able to clear
It's
it.
something to your advantage also. You don't want this to come up if you do a sale of the property or you do.
Absolutely, I understand
So
that
it's to your
now.
advantage to resolve
Absolutely.
this.
I realize that, you know, a title search should never be completed with an open permit on it. And as I've stated, the title was searched 3 times since we've owned the house, and it never came up.
You say it was searched 3 times.
We bought the house once and refinanced twice.
They
Yeah.
probably don't go back and search again prior to the
Yeah.
initial search.
Okay, well, it was done once, sir.
Yeah.
They could have given the departmentals from the first time around that were clean.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows?
Mr. Mayor.
Do they still have paper documents?
Yeah, there
Does
are.
who still have paper documents?
Building
The
codes,
town on
CCOs.
these?
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yep.
Because I had actually spoken with the previous owner's son, who was indicated he was very certain that all these things were done prior to the sale.
When did you buy?
94.
94. This is a 76 building permit.
Yeah. All right, well, getting back to the purpose of your visit here this evening, you have provided us photographs of your property. You show how the shed is nicely tucked into a little landscaped area or vegetated area in the backyard. It matches the exterior of your house in the front. Is the new shed going to have a matching exterior as well?
Yeah, similar. I have a,
So it'll be red, some kind of red siding? Okay. It
It'd be a
blends in
wood
so
siding, we
nicely
can
in the
make it the
back
same
there,
color.
so. Okay. You do have a septic, your septic fields are in your backyard?
they're
so-
off the side, yeah. The
Right.
other side of the house, right?
And so actually, if the shed was moved more into the middle of the yard, it was actually going to be more prominent and more
absolutely.
visible, more, as opposed to tucked into the trees there, it's nicely hidden. Any comments or questions from board members?
I was just curious as to what you're storing. It's, because it's, looks like it's right on top of your well.
Yes.
And what,
Garden tools and equipment?
So, but it's going to stay, it's not, it will be adjacent to your well, but it's, you're not covering the well
No.
or anything like that?
No.
Okay,
I think it's about 4 or 5 feet away from it.
okay.
And you're not driving a tractor over it.
No, the door would be on the other side, right, yeah.
we're storing anything that might leak
Yeah,
into
any
your well.
chemicals that might-
That's- Yeah, as long as, that's,
You'll store them on the other side of the
Yeah.
shed?
Right. you know,
All right, so is there anyone here to speak for or against Donald Cottle, 138 Stormville Road, requesting an 11-foot sideline variance for a proposed 12-foot by 24-foot shed? Seeing none.
I had a question. I was looking at your aerial property. I mean, you have got a lot of land in the back up there, which is cleared area. I mean, I'm looking at this aerial. I mean, this
Right.
whole area is
There
cleared.
it is.
Correct, it's all
So he
cleared.
does have a septic here, but one of the things we said was it's actually more aesthetically hidden
Okay.
by being in the trees, as opposed to being front and center in the middle of the yard. So it's much less visible
Yeah, it's,
where it's
yeah,
located.
it's right next to the well. I mean, can we, how close is it to the well?
About 5 feet, I believe.
Because the drawing is showing right adjacent to the well. So that will change the variance because it's requesting 14 and 16 at this point. And
Excuse me?
Which side of this shed is going to stay in line with the existing
I
shed?
believe you have a blueprint there?
Yeah, and so it's really looking like the existing 5-foot by 5-foot is, you're, instead of going more into your yard, you're actually going closer to your property line.
Then the 5x5, yes.
Right.
It actually will extend further into the yard from the 5x5 and further back from the 5x5 towards the east sideline.
Right, just because it's bigger. Because I think if he comes out any further than that, it's going to be in a much more visible area. Plus, he's going to have to cut down the evergreen tree, right? Your hope is to leave the tree as it is? It's nice screening, so. So I can understand why they don't want to go that way.
I see.
And
I did
then-
this drawing based on the dimensions and the measurement, the placement of the house, not on the well. I believe the well might not be placed properly on this diagram.
It might be as well. So in the picture that we have, there's some string on stakes. What is that string on
That's
stakes?
a proposed location, I believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. So again, he's going right around the two trees.
Okay.
He's sandwiching it right between those two. Okay. Is there anyone here to speak for or against? All right, so the issue is, do we close and reserve?
We could do that.
But that
Or
limits it
you-
to 62 days only.
You could also close and make it an express condition. He doesn't obtain the relief he seeks unless he cleans up the issue discussed.
Okay, that's fine with me.
And then copy.
What we can do is actually make our approval contingent on your resolving the other issues. Okay? So we would finish up tonight recognizing that there is an open issue that you have to get resolved.
And when that's done, it would be,
Yes.
okay.
Would be a condition to your approval.
Yep.
So, do I have a motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye.
Okay. You wanna go? Okay. I can- Okay. Appeal 3687, applicant is Donald Cottle. Is requesting 11-foot sideline variance for a proposed 12 feet by 24-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Resolution offered by zoning board member Aziz Hassan, whereas the applicant has applied to the zoning board for an 11-foot sideline variance for a proposed 12 feet by 24-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance, whereas this action is a type 2 action of the seeker and no further action is required, and whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Duchess News on July 30th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 12th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, the desired results cannot be achieved by some other means, the variance requested is not substantial, the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request made by Donald Cottle, 138 Strongville Road, Hopewell Junction, for an 11-foot sideline variance for a proposed 12 feet by 24-foot shed pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance, along with obtaining building permits that are outstanding.
Renewing the
Renewing the outstanding building permits.
So the applicant will be required to renew,
All outstanding building permits.
okay, that's fine.
Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized members of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second? Second. Votes as follows, Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Tara? Aye. Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your motion carries,
Thank you.
okay? Please pass that down to Pam. All right, Appeal 3689, number 7, Jackson. Jamar Jackson, 77 Harrison's Trail, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 20-foot rear line variance and a 4-foot sideline variance for a proposed 28-foot by 20-foot pavilion pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
All in favor? Aye. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so when we last saw your proposal, we commented, we understood the purpose of your pavilion. You have a nice pool in the backyard. You're looking to have a covered area for seating and, you know, to really be able to more enjoy your backyard. The dilemma is that it kind of encroaches on the setback that's required in terms of, which would limit the size, unless you got relief from this board. We did have an open issue about your pool and the survey for your pool. Okay, so we have an updated survey that
It
shows.
shows revised pool offsets as
Okay.
of August 8th.
And so this is showing us that number?
28.9 or 26.9?
Yeah, 20, it looks like 26.9, because that looks like 25. Okay, so your pool appears to meet the required setbacks, according to the new survey. And then we asked them to draw in, you had them draw in the proposed, well, the wood cabana, is that what you're talking about here, or that's?
Yes.
So you're calling it a pavilion, but they're calling it a wood cabana, just so I'm understanding
okay,
your
they just
survey.
used a different word. I gave him the plan and told him it was pavilion, but
It's the same 20-foot by 28?
it's exactly the same structure. They just called it a cabana.
Okay. Does anybody
And-
else see the
and-
survey?
Cooler for them.
Well, cabana sounds enclosed. It sounds like it's going to have sides.
Well, I have plans of that in case you wanted to see
Yeah,
exactly
please,
what it
because
is.
that's not what you showed us last time around.
And I even sent the Oswald these plans so they could make sure the size was it's completely open structure. There was no enclosure of any kind.
Yeah, that's a cabana to me implies walls, you know?
There are no walls at all.
Okay, and so we did discuss, just again, for the record, could you state why the size? I know it goes with the sizing of your backyard, but, you know, is there a means of reducing it? Why do you need the variance as opposed to having a reduced size?
When we originally laid out the master plan, this was just the size that went in accordance with the house, the pool, the area for entertaining, and it's just the size that fits well within our desired location and use. We tried to plan it out on the other side of the house, but the septic is there, the leach field is there, the grade is very steep. This was basically the only place we could put the structure.
Okay, because our concern is usually a shed because you're hiding materials, your lawnmower, your garden tools. We can understand the use and the necessity for it. Recreational structures, there's not necessarily a real necessity for it unless it's containing something. And so that's why we appreciate how, you know, it fits in nicely with the design of your yard, but it begs the question for this board, the necessity of it. That's all. So, any comments or questions from board members?
No, I'm good.
No? Okay. So let's hear if any of your neighbors have any concerns. So is there anyone here to speak for or against Amara Jackson, 77 Harrison's Trail, requesting a 20-foot rear line variance and a 4-foot sideline variance for a proposed 28-foot by 20-foot pavilion? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you.
Carl?
Okay, do you
I
need,
just
do
did
you
the
need
last
this
one.
back or not?
I do not.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Tara, you wanna go? Okay.
John? Appeal number 3689. Applicant is Jamar Jackson. Name of the project is a 20-foot rear line variance and a 4-foot sideline variance for a proposed 28 by 20 pavilion pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. The location is 77 Harrison Trail, Hopewell Junction. Tax number 645602786705. It's an R1 district. Resolution offered by zoning board member Tara Franco, whereas the applicant has applied to the zoning board for a 20-foot rear line and a 4-foot sideline variance for a proposed 28 by 20 pavilion pursuant to section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Whereas the action is a type 2 action under SEQR and no further action is required. Whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on July 30th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 12, 2014. And whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community, the desired result cannot be achieved in some other means, the variance requested is not substantial, and the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. Now therefore be it resolved, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request made by Jamar Jackson, 77 Harrison's Trail, Hopewell Junction, for a 20-foot rear line and a 4-foot sideline variance for a proposed 28 by 20 pavilion pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant or owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows. Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Tara? Aye. Barbara? And myself, aye. All right, so your motion carries.
Thank you. Do I need to do anything else to close the pool permit as well? This was given to the town.
You would go back to the building department. Have they, I don't know whether inspections have been done or not. They need to tell you that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? All right, item number 8, Appeal 3690 Smith, Judith K. Smith, 33 Louise Lane, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a variance to allow a detached garage to remain in front of the front line of the dwelling pursuant to Section 194-107C of the zoning ordinance. Hi, do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. You have not just 2 front yards, you have a very unique situation that you have 3 front yards.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so, and so even though when one looks at your home, it doesn't appear, garage doesn't appear to be in front of the front line, but because of the second front yard, I'll call it the middle front yard, it actually is not behind your yard, it's really in front of it and closer to the road where it makes sense, okay? And it's been there for 40 years, so, and it was put there, according to what you told us at the last meeting, on the advice of the building department at the time, that it could not go in the place you actually desired it to go, that it made more sense there. The property is well maintained. Again, your 3rd front yard is on Lake Walton Road.
Right.
So, you know, it's been visible. There haven't been any complaints about it. And we do recognize you're now looking to sell your home, so you just need to get the property in compliance. But I personally didn't see any issues at all with the fact that this has been there for longer than I've been here. So, all right. So any questions or comments from board members?
I'm good.
No? Is there anyone here to speak for or against Judith Smith, 33 Louise Lane, Hopewell Junction, requesting a variance to allow a detached garage to remain in front of the front line of the dwelling? Now, seeing none, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And?
This is appeal number 3690, applicant Judith K. Smith. The project name is allowing a detached garage to remain in front of the front line of the dwelling pursuant to Section 194-107C of the zoning ordinance. Located at 33 Lois Lane, Hopewell Junction. Resolution offered by zoning board member Barbara Barosa. Whereas the applicant has applied to the zoning board for a variance to allow an existing detached garage to remain in front of the front line of the dwelling pursuant to Section 194-107C of the zoning ordinance. Whereas this action is a Type 2 action under seeker and no further action is required. And whereas the legal notice was published in the Southern Dutchess News on July 30th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals held a public hearing on August 12th, 2014, and whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals finds that the granting of the variance will not produce an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or be a detriment to the community as the garage has been there for 40 years and fits in with the character of the neighborhood. The desired result cannot be achieved by some other means, as this is a lot with a road on 3 sides. The variance requested is not substantial. The proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the request made by Judith K. Smith to allow a detached garage to remain in front of the front line of her dwelling pursuant to Section 194-107C of the zoning ordinance. Be it further resolved that within 5 business days of the adoption of this resolution, the chair or other duly authorized member of the zoning board shall cause a copy of the resolution to be filed with the town clerk and a copy sent to the applicant owner.
Is there a second?
Second.
Votes as follows: Jim?
Aye.
Aziz?
Aye.
Tara?
Aye.
Barbara?
Aye.
And myself, aye. Your motion carries. You're all set.
Thank you.
Okay?
So I just have to do the building inspector now?
Whatever the building department's going to require. I
Fine.
can't speak for them.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Have a good evening. You too. All right, our public hearings are now over. We probably made it look easy. That's because we did a significant review of each of these applications, so now it's your turn. All right, so our first review this evening is Appeal 2216, Jackson Soil Mining. Vern Jackson is requesting an extension of a soil mining permit for his property located on Jackson Road pursuant to Section 194-75 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening, Mr. Jackson.
Good evening.
All right, you have had a soil mine operation on that property for many years at this point. And we see in our application that you had, last year you got a renewal from New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. That renewal is good through 2018. But the town code only allows the zoning board to issue permits on a 2-year basis. So that's why you're back before this board, just to continue. You're not making any changes to your operation over there?
No.
Okay. Comments or questions from board members?
Good to see you again.
No? Okay.
I'm good.
I think we're ready to set this for a public hearing and just, make sure there's, all
DEC there, right?
right, we do have to do a public hearing, as you understand. as
Are
we've
you
done in
sure
the
you
past.
have to do this public hearing?
Yeah, so do I have a motion to?
Because we had a public hearing within 2 years.
Right, every 2 years.
No, we already had one
No,
in
but,
October of 12.
right, and so
And
now,
so we're just looking for an extension.
but part of the extension requires this board to have another public hearing. Your neighbors have to have the opportunity to comment, not that you're, not that you have a lot of neighbors, but your neighbors have to have the opportunity to comment if there's any concerns about the operation. Okay? So do I,
Okay, so there's no way you can consider to
Well, we're going to
grant
consider,
an
we're going to put it on for the next month.
yeah, we'll finish this up.
It's a
and-
formality. Anytime it's extended, we have to have a public hearing. So we'll put it on for next month, and you have your DEC permit in place
Yeah, you
until
can-
2015. So it should be pretty pro forma, but we need to hear from your neighbors. It's a formality.
Is that a motion?
Yes, it is. Put it on for next month, please.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. All right, so we will see you next month, just to give your neighbors the opportunity to comment.
September 10th.
And again, we have to remind you to put the sign.
Yeah, does he have a
it's
sign? Right.
And put the sign, and then make sure it's with the
Sharpie,
permanent marker.
permanent marker, right. Pam will give you the instructions for your sign, okay?
Okay. I'll stop by.
And then we'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, next month is Wednesday. Remember, for anyone that we assign for public hearing, remember that next month's meeting will be on Wednesday. This primary day will be Tuesday, and they'll be using this room. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you.
Yep.
Good evening.
All right, item number 10, Appeal 3682. I know I don't want to say this wrong. Aleshis? I don't know.
Oldest Chuck.
Oldest
Chuck.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Richard Olischuk,
Yes.
6 Somerset Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 13-foot sideline variance for a proposed in-ground pool pursuant to Section 194-95 of the zoning ordinance. All right, understanding that, I know you've submitted some additional material, but again, for any of the requests that we have seen before, we go with what you originally saw when we talked to you this evening. We may be reducing what I'm reading, but for the time being, we're going with what you wrote in your original application.
Understood.
So when we saw you 2 months ago, you identified some reasonable concerns about why you did not want your pool in a more visible location. You actually, because of the slope of your property and the roadway, you were requesting that the pool be closer to the roadway because the elevation difference actually would give your pool more privacy.
Absolutely correct.
We commented on some of the missing, there was a missing evergreen that might also give you some privacy, that there were other ways of doing screening, but we did note that where you were proposing to put the pool and patio was potentially going to be impactful of a buffer, wetland buffer.
Correct.
And so subsequent to that, you did go to New York State DEC to request permission to You're going to take it from here.
Absolutely.
Okay.
To use part of the adjacent land to the wetland.
Okay.
To install half the pool and half this project. So the project would be halfway in the buffer zone and halfway in my regular unprotected backyard. Also taking into consideration the concerns that the board had last time, I moved the pool over 8 more feet, so now instead of 12 feet from the line, it's now 20 feet from the line. My process, the quote I got from DEC today is I'm in the home stretch. While I haven't fully received it, my application has been approved. I've had site visits. I brought in a biologist on my own to take a look at it. They had people come out and do a habitat inspection. I've already placed the ad in the Southern Dutchess News. That ran. They have 2 more days in that open period for negative comments.
Okay, for DEC's
Correct.
purposes. Okay. All right, so I'm going to ask you to step up to the, I don't want to call it a stage, whatever the heck we are up here. There's a fence that's running along the back of your property and a fence along the roadway area. So are you going to be removing a portion of this fence?
Yes, I'm going to be removing a portion of the northern fence.
Okay.
Which is that fence right there.
Right.
Approximately here, it would go
Back.
create a
Okay.
rectangle.
So tell me about the vegetation that's there now. Are you clearing it? Are you leaving it as it is? What are you looking to do?
On the map I have within the new fenced-in area,
Yeah.
that would be clear. That would be patio, 5 feet each side of the pool.
Right.
Outside the fence, I would not be clearing.
Okay.
There's a small area where DEC said they would give me permission to plant trees, which would help with the screening issue.
Okay, all right. So, and again, there was a one gap, I think, in the trees that was like the most appropriate to where you were looking at.
Absolutely.
So, and I know you said there was concern about road salt and other issues on the road, but,
I planted 7 trees, but I got permission from the town last year to plant, so I'll continue to try my best to fill them down with trees every year, or twice a year.
okay, so I understand you're in the home stretch. Do you have a sense of the timing?
She said a couple weeks. She said Friday will be the closing period for the comments.
You can go back to the microphone, just so that your comments are on the record.
That's a very strong voice, though.
I know, he has a very strong voice, yes.
Friday would be the
of the
closing period
comment
for
period.
comments. And she said she can't guarantee a timeline, but she says within a couple weeks, you should be good to go. She'll start drafting on Monday.
Okay, because before this board takes action, we're going to need to know that DEC is approving its location, or we're wasting our time.
I agree, and I spoke with her the last board meeting, which is why I postponed it. She said it wouldn't be prudent for me to appear before you guys. She said it was in my best interest to postpone.
Okay.
This one, she said she couldn't promise, but she didn't foresee a problem with me going before you now. She felt I was within 30 days out of receiving the actual approval.
So I guess we are within, we can go for public hearing.
We could. The dilemma for this board is that it is a request for a pool that is still looking for a sideline variance. Or, yeah, it's still, even though technically this is a front line, isn't it? Front yard. So we got to be clear what we're advertising for, first off.
Oh, I see.
So instead of, so you're really down to, instead of needing a 13-foot variance because a pool only requires 25 feet, you're down to needing only 5 feet.
But is it a side?
Well, doesn't, but a pool is still, pool is only 25 feet, but a pool doesn't belong in the front yard.
Right, and it's on the road, because the road curves.
But we didn't
No,
raise this as an issue last time around.
right.
So, we do have the issue of the pool in the front yard.
How is the pool in the front yard? I thought it was the
Because
backyard.
it's a corner lot.
Oh, okay, let me look at it.
This is the roadway up here, remember?
Oh, okay.
The elevation difference from,
Okay, yeah, this is, ooh, okay.
So it's in the front lot?
Yeah, because it's
he's
a
got
corner
two,
lot.
he's got
corner
two front
lot.
yards, yeah.
Well, then, does the variance have to be bigger than 20, requesting?
It's in the front yard. This is the front yard here.
No, the pool setback is 25 feet. The dilemma is pools are not allowed in the front yard.
Yeah, because
Okay,
it's
so
just a corner.
that takes precedence over the fact that usually you can't build within 50 feet of the front line?
Well, a pool is 25 feet.
The location is,
Is 'Cause I sort of always took it as you use the greater one, either the 25 or
No, pool's 25, side and rear, not allowed in the
it was,
front.
this is what I'm saying, this is a front line, so which controls?
It's not allowed.
Do we give more? Well, I mean, well, it's not allowed at all, so.
John, help.
It's a problem. It's a problem.
It's not allowed, so usually you wouldn't have the consideration of a 50-foot
Right.
setback. It's which one controls. I mean, if we're gonna consider it, I think it maybe the variance has to be for more than.
I think
Not
our
just the
conversation 2 months ago was so focused on where you were proposing it and being in a side yard that none of us focused on the fact that this is actually a front yard.
Because you're a corner lot and you got
Yeah.
2 roads, so the road makes it your front yard.
I remember specifically Mary raised the issue of the fact of one up in Hillside Lake that I had been involved with.
But now, I mean, it's clear your other side of your yard, you had your septic.
The other side of the yard would be, unfortunately, an impossibility.
Right.
Because of the whole septic system, the box
Right.
coming off the deck.
The box is right off the deck, right? You showed us that last time around.
The only open spot would be my true front yard, which obviously would be ridiculous. I mean, the only thing for the backyard, I know you're saying that's a front yard, the elevation difference between the backyard and the road is great. The pool, the patio area would be almost invisible. We're talking about a 20-foot elevation difference.
I understand that.
Mary actually brought up the setback issue.
Really not the cons-
Mary brought it up in June.
The setback
Setback,
issue,
yeah.
but the front, she'd bring up the front yard issue.
She talked about the need 50-foot setbacks in front yard, use more restrictive regulation.
Yeah. So,
So
if we're gonna grant a
it's a-
variance.
But we were focused on DEC, the
Right.
wetland buffer.
And we didn't think what DEC was gonna go along with, you disturbing the wetland buffer. All right, so,
I mean,
so it's a greater variance than what's needed, but this is still a pool. It's a recreational use, it's not a necessity, it's, you
I
know.
understand.
Mr. Olachek, come on up, back up again. I have a circled area where we talked about having, and I don't remember why we said no to this. You said your septic box was, was gonna be here.
Straight off, yes, come straight off the
And
deck.
so why, I know your preference is here, and I think this is how we got into the discussion about visibility.
Yes.
And that by it being here, it was actually gonna be more visible from the road.
Completely.
But it's a pool in a front yard. I don't see how we can do it. So aside from visibility was really the only issue for this location?
Just the patio issues. There would be very, very little room for patio on that side with the deck, the wetlands there,
How big a pool were you looking for?
16 by 32.
If it was turned the other way. Would it fit?
I don't think it would fit the long way, but it would still be exceeding the side.
If you stay close to the road, you're taking 16 feet away to the road because put the kidney shape at an angle. So you're sort of going at an angle to your deck. I mean, that's a problem.
So do we want to recognize that there are unique circumstances in this yard that are requiring its placement to be?
I may go along that route, but I don't want to, I think it has to be at least a minimum of 25 in my mind as I'm sitting here thinking about it. Why can't, right now you're 20 feet, why can't you at least meet the 25 foot?
So you're saying move 5 more feet.
Or reduce the size of the pool by 5 feet.
He probably just move it 5 more feet away, so we're at least meeting the 25-foot setback requirement for a pool. And maybe, given the unusual fact that you got 2 front yards or something, maybe we could think of some way to go along with that. But yeah, that's my concern, though. I think it's the more restrictive one that the attorney has mentioned that we're supposed to comply with. So at this point, you're seeking a 30-foot variance in a front yard and not even meeting the setback requirement for a pool, we got a lot of justification to do.
Right.
I would like, and I understand the visibility thing, but, you know, people driving along the road, is it really that much of an issue for visibility? You got the trees
Why
there.
don't you go back to the microphone, so again.
You got the
it's-
trees there,
but
people are
be-
driving, I don't think most of them are gonna be really paying that much attention to what's
Just
going
be
on. in the
sensitive to
pool.
what you put on.
I could speak volumes,
Well,
but I don't know if I would like to
understand.
speak volumes in
Yeah.
this
You
forum.
said you're sensitive, I would recall what
There's
the
an
issue
issue.
was.
I could speak to current events that happened in the past couple of months in Hopewell that they were on the news, all over the news. It wound up a mile from my house.
If you put the patio on the hillside, the patio could be in that 25 feet. So you could put the patio more up on the hill. So that area where you're standing and sitting is more hidden. And put the pool.
It would be
Bring the
more.
pool in closer.
I don't know if there's a forum to speak.
But the problem is still, it's a front yard.
Right.
That's the problem. It's the placement is not an issue, because if it was a side
Well,
yard,
if he came in with the 25 feet with the pool.
yeah, if you can move it, can you move it somehow 25 feet or, you know,
I forgot about the other situation, but if you move it over 5, I think we could probably fashion something and put it on for a public.
because
hearing.
5 foot really, you know, because then it's 25 feet and then we can work with the other issue. Because you know, none of us realized that this was a front yard, unfortunately.
That's
Because
it.
you have 2 front yards.
Yeah.
And that's a huge issue, unfortunately.
5 feet, absolutely. I mean, certainly to move this project forward, my preference due to the issues I spoke about, I would rather 20, but I said 5 feet. I said I don't think that's going to be a,
Okay. Because you're also getting some land variance from the DEC for the wetland issue, the buffer area, so you're actually moving it into the buffer.
the only issue that I may have, and it wouldn't be mine, it would be DEC's, if I can approach.
Yes?
Their best case scenario, speaking with DEC, was shaving off just this corner. They wanted to shave off a corner and not me have a disturbance in the middle, so now I'm disturbing both sides.
Okay, well, that's
But I said,
that's a recognition of DEC, New York State's requirements, that makes this unique.
Yeah.
That actually helps your case.
But see if you can get I would still, are they really gonna be worried about 5 feet away?
I don't know.
I mean,
You mean 25 instead of the?
But your request was to have the pool with a 5-foot patio on each side. What if you put 10-foot patio on one side?
They don't have to go 0 on the other.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't know, feasibly for safety that I should have.
Well, you can still climb out on the other side.
You can have
It's
grass.
not, you know, it's just not a patio.
They wouldn't, they want, this is what they said, the 5 feet on either side with the fence right adjacent to the patio. So, I mean, if I went 10, I'd gladly ask for 10 on one side. I don't know if they're gonna give it to me, but 0 on the other side.
Because you
10.
generally only have stairs on one side. You'll have,
The stairs are gonna be on the side of the unprotected spot. Correct.
yeah, so you wouldn't really need a patio on the other side. There's no stairs, there's no access there, so.
Well, you need to get
I
around.
mean, I do have young kids. I have an
Right.
8-year-old.
No, no, I understand,
But
which
to
is,
climb out, there's no way for him to get out of the pool on that side. I don't know if that would be, I mean, I don't know if it's safe in my mind. The building department said it was safe and it's okay, but I don't know if that would be the greatest idea, to
Well, you
have
can
no
do
access to get out
8
of
and
the pool.
2 or something.
a patio's not required around a pool. All right, that's not,
We're trying to work.
I hear you. Believe me, I'm.
Yeah, again, you can maybe reduce the thing by maybe 2 feet, 3 feet patio, I mean, or just
I would
around.
like it to be, at least meet the setback requirement
Okay.
for a pool, and let us work special circumstances reasoning in for the greater variance for your front line. Because I think that's much easier for us to justify. You have the DEC requirements, you have the fact that it's a corner lot, it's not otherwise, you know, really in the front line of your property, it's back as much as you can put it, you can't put it on the other side because of your septic, you have a lot.
but DEC's
My
request.
personal thing is that you try to modify it so you're 25 feet at least away from your property line for the pool itself.
Jim, to add to what you just said, DEC's request is that the disturbance in the buffer not be more middle, that it be more to the side. So I think that adds to the argument as to why we limit it to the
Okay, but
general area. Again, I agree with you about the 25 feet. I really,
I would like the 25 feet. Because You know, it's a relatively new requirement in the town law. We were very reluctant to try to grant variances for that. You know, pools are great. I encourage them, you know, it certainly adds to the value or use of your property. Some people would not say value. Some people don't want pools when they buy a house.
I'm not selling my house anytime soon.
But,
That's not my concern.
So I'm just indicating maybe it doesn't, but certainly it increase your enjoyment of your property, and you're certainly entitled to that. You've done a lot, I appreciate that. If you could sort of modify that, I will certainly work with you as much as I can and try to get this through. I think we're ready to go and put it on for it.
Can you check in with DEC and see how big an issue this is going to be for them? Even if you reduce the patio area on one side to say 2 feet, okay? You can climb out, you've got a little bit of room on that side, and then it may put 8 feet on the other side. It doesn't move it the 5 feet that Jim's asking for, but at least it moves it 3.
Just so I'm clear, which side would you want reduced? You'd want reduced on
The side closest to the road.
the patio
No,
side?
sorry, that's the side we want, the largest patio. So we want it pushed as far away from the road as you can go.
The pool, the pool.
The
moved over
pool.
with the patio.
Right,
Okay.
so still work with the 10 feet of patio, but maybe put 2 feet on one side and 8 feet on the other side.
I'll gladly ask them, they're very familiar with me, and they're still taking my phone calls. So 9 o'clock in the morning, I'll see whatever I can do. My only concern, I truly wanted to get this in this year. This
I
year
know,
is
you're running out of
obviously
ground,
gone.
at a time to get it in the ground.
Oh, no, I understood. That was gone last time. What I'd really like to do, is it possible to push this to the public hearing portion, or do I still have to wait another month?
I'm ready to put it
Well,
on.
again, if you can get an answer from DEC, there's a noticing requirement that you've got 25 days of noticing. So we've got to make sure that Pam gets our clerk gets the proper variance size in time to get the noticing.
I'll have my markers ready. I'll be on the phone with them 9 o'clock in the morning. My only concern is if they said no, or if they came back with a counter proposal, is there a mechanism in place for me to talk to somebody?
Well, my thing would be, let's advertise it the way he's proposing it tonight.
Okay.
Work on it, make it as easy as you can for us to try to work with you. And as long as you advertise for what you're asking for now, if
We can
we're
approve
successful
less.
in getting it lowered, then we can certainly give you something that's lesser.
The new one will be less of an impact.
So that won't be a problem.
I appreciate it.
So is that a motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All right, if you don't mind, see Pam, she'll give you your instructions for your sign. All right, and then we will see you next month.
Fantastic. Thank you very much.
Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday, September 10th. All right, item number 11, Appeal 3686 McIntyre, Susan McIntyre, 171 Meads Crossroads, Stormville, requesting a 21-foot sideline variance for an existing 8-foot by 10-foot shed and a 25-foot front line and 25-foot sideline variance for a proposed 40-foot by 25-foot sport court, which is proposed to be located in front of the dwelling pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening. Okay, since we met last week and expressed some strong concerns about a sport court being located in the front of a yard in somebody's front property, we did receive a letter. It was received July 29th, that Susan McIntyre is not looking to get approval for the installation of the sport court.
Correct.
So we're down to just dealing with the shed that is already there and is not conforming.
Correct.
Okay, so for the record, the sport court, but again, Pam left the application titles as they were. So everybody can remove the proposed sport court.
And it's been removed off the drawing as well.
Okay, good. All right, so now we just need to talk about why the shed is where it is, and is it movable? It's not a large shed.
No, it's...
So I know there's slopes on this property. We understood that from the last discussion. Is it movable?
The shed has been there preceded their sale of purchasing the property. It's been there for over 35 years. It's
Okay.
a little rickety shed. It's sitting on some railroad ties. They keep it up, they paint it, it's cute. But, when you start moving it, I think it's going to start falling apart. Their backyard, their level space, which is, pretty much their backyard, is their septic field. this part of the property is rocky and woody, and then, you know, the shed is sort of tucked in.
So is that the shed there?
The little pink thing, yes.
There in the photograph?
Yes.
So it's along the, it's in,
It's right along the road, it's a Burr Road. There's a woodsy area.
so it's in front of the home? Or is that in the backyard?
It's in the backyard, but they have two front
Two
yards.
front
Okay,
The
all
front of the
right.
house
But so it's
faces-
still in the front yard?
It's still in the front yard. But it's, you know, it's alongside the wood, you know, this is the picture of the road. Here's the picture of the shed. And it shows you can't even see the shed from the road.
All right, so
It's-
that's,
It's tucked in.
That's the shed. What's the, there was a garage next to it? What is it in the picture?
yeah, looks like it's, no, in the picture, there looks like there's a garage with cars
Is that
parked.
just a
Oh,
perspective?
that's a garage with the house that's been there.
No, the picture with the shed in it. There are cars.
Not my glasses, too.
Is it a perspective problem? Is that actually further back for the neighbor or something? You got a truck there or something? Your
Oh,
picture.
they have the reason this came up is they got a permit to build a pergola on the back of their house. So that's the contractor.
So this is the back of it, well,
This is the back of the house.
but it's the other front line. Okay.
Correct. Correct.
So Pam, we've got to
That
deal
pink
with
thing
it
up
being
there
in the
is
front
what we're talking about, the
line.
shed.
Correct.
And that's,
It looks very close to the house.
that's what I'm saying, it's a
Yeah, it's a
perspective problem.
perspective thing, yeah.
That's what I said, it's a perspective
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Okay.
It's a very accurate
What's the
survey.
distance?
From,
The
It's a
house.
car length. You can see it is a car length there,
well,
so.
there's the giant pergola.
Pergola and a car
There's two
length.
cars.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's,
Okay,
you
it's
know.
considerable.
it's an accurate survey.
Well, it's just the perspective problem. The picture, it looks like it's right next to the house.
Right, right.
Right, no, it is. If you went there, it's very, very clear.
And what color is the house? It looks like it's gray, but then it
It's
looks
a,
like the shed
a
is
taupe.
red.
It's a taupe,
Okay.
kind of a taupe color, and, you know, the pergola's new, and there's a new patio going in.
Why are there X's on the back of the shed?
Oh, it's just a barn door thing. It's a,
Oh, those are the doors?
yeah, it's a little barn door.
Oh, okay, I'm looking at the
Just different
side of it
door.
or rear of
Yeah,
it.
it's just a little.
Okay,
funky
decorative
little
accent.
Barn door thing.
Okay. So even though it's small, it's, the ability to even push it back a little closer to the house is limited?
It's really limited. This is the front, the 50-foot front line here, and there's the 50-foot different line here. So you basically, this is all septic, but you basically have the shed right in your
Okay,
face.
so you can't, the septic's gonna limit where it
And
can
this is
go.
all lovely woods, and it's high, you know, it's high up.
Yeah, but we can hide a shed in the woods really nicely.
But I mean, it's like rock and, you know.
Okay, the ability to move it anywhere near from where it is limited by the septic.
Correct.
That extends over quite a bit. All right.
And this is a view, as I said, this is a view from the road. Actually, this one right here, you can see the roof of the house, but the shed, you don't see it.
Okay,
But it's a very quiet road.
okay. Motion for public hearing?
So moved.
Second. Was it
What?
is it 21 feet away from the front property line?
Well, yeah, let's clarify
4
this.
feet.
You were asking for a 21-foot sideline variance. If it's a front line, what's the variance that's needed?
Well, I think that might have been an error there, because I have 37 feet. Because the shed is 4.4 feet into the property line.
That's why it's 21 feet, because it's,
Well,
it would be
it's a front line,
25 if
so
it
it's gotta be
was a
50.
sideline.
Yeah, I think it was a mistake on me.
So she needs 30,
But the
46?
road's on-
46
And then the
feet.
shed is 8 by 10, you know, so it'd be 37 plus the.
No, you gotta come from the road. The
Right,
variance
right.
comes from the road.
Right.
So that screened, that vegetated area is only 4 feet?
No, the road is literally about 20 feet from the property line.
Oh, you have a huge right-of-way.
There's a huge right-of-way there, it's a whole wooded, this is all right-of-way here.
Okay, that helps.
Property line's all the way in here, the road's all the way up. Just happens to be a huge right-of-way there.
Okay. What, Pam?
So how far?
So it's 4 feet in, it's gonna need a 46-foot front line variance.
4.4 feet off the property
Yeah, so we give it.
So you need the 46 feet. We don't do half.
Okay.
I would, yeah, not, that comment's not gonna come out right, so I'm not gonna say it. Okay, so do I have a motion to advertise?
So moved.
Second, all in favor? Aye. All right, PM will give you your instructions for your sign. And we will see you next month. You guys are gonna get sick of hearing me say on Wednesday, September 10th. All right, item number 12, Appeal 3688 Henshaw, Karen E. Henshaw, 72 Katie's Way, represented by Robert Hamill, is requesting an interpretation of Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance as to whether or not pole-mounted solar panels are considered structures and therefore have to abide by the required setbacks. Is Mr. Hamill present?
Second call.
Is there a second for second call?
Second.
All right, all in favor? Aye. Moving right along, item number 13, Appeal 3691, T&J Properties. T&J Properties, 2566 Route 52, Hopewell Junction. The Fleet Weather Building is requesting an expansion of a non-conforming building and a 77-foot front line variance for a pre-existing non-conforming structure which is in a B1 zone, in order that they may enclose the existing decking to remodel the inside of the building pursuant to Section 194-123 and 194-121 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening, Mark.
This project, as you know, is at the intersection of Raspberry Ridge and 52. The property is completely surrounded by wetland, as you may know. Right now, it serves as Fleet Weather, their office. They do actually sell maritime weather information to shipping contractors around the world. They currently have a three-story deck that's in the rear of the building. I met with the owners a couple months ago to look at how they could basically utilize their space inside a little bit more efficiently. As you may know, it's an old residential building. It's pretty well cut up in a sense that it's compartmentalized as a house typically is. There's many additions on this that some are at one level, some are at different levels. So we basically looked at the back of the building and asked possibly what we'd like to do is take off the existing three-story deck and just square the back of the building off and create space that they can move around and change the inside of the building. The planning board asked that we come here. Currently, the building's 23 feet off of the front edge of pavement because there's a deacceleration lane there. I'm not certain.
Deacceleration lane?
Yeah, there's actually a deacceleration lane that goes into this site.
Wow,
It's,
okay.
it's something, it's not a state, it was something that I think was put
Okay.
in later. But anyway, we were curious if we needed the variance because it is actually on the back of the building. We're not encroaching any further in the front. And we think there was a variance offered when this was originally approved. This was a site plan that was approved a number of years ago.
And so his building department confirmed that there was a variance
I
granted?
don't know that they did. We thought about it afterwards and thought this is existing non-conforming. We're not looking to increase the square footage of the building since it's a deck. Pam's giving me the wave off.
No, we looked, we couldn't find a variance.
Okay, so we're here tonight for a variance.
So, but this says you're looking to enclose the deck. You
Right.
said you're looking to remove it.
Well, it would actually be, since it's three-story, we're basically, you can't use the deck because it's got stairway.
Right.
We will enclose the deck, but we'll
Okay.
actually be taking the deck down to reestablish the floor
So
levels.
you're looking to do, really, in addition to the building, that's a permanent,
Right.
Are you gonna be putting a new foundation, everything in for those
Yes,
additions?
yes.
You're really,
yeah, it's an
really
addition.
taking a deck out.
Yeah, the deck will come out, because right now it's basically.
It's a weird deck back there. You can see it as you're driving by on 52.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Well, they used to put their satellites up there prior to,
Okay.
so I don't know if you remember, but they used to have all huge satellites sitting
Yeah.
up there. They don't need them anymore.
Yeah.
So
who's the user, what's the use in this building now?
right now, they have, they do weather tracking.
Oh, okay, so it's still being used by fleet weather.
Still, yeah, still
Okay.
fleet weather.
Okay.
Anybody else in there?
No, no, and actually, when you go in there, and it's quite a trip to go in, but they
So-
have, like, one person has like 5 different monitors, so it's tight, it's very tight in there, because like one is a living room, and there's like 5 people in it, then you go to the back side of the wall, and there's like 3 people jammed in here. The men's room, you really couldn't go in there and change your mind, so they want to actually just go in and redo a lot of this. They want to move their kitchenette out onto where the deck is, and that opens up the area to open that whole inside of the building up so they
So
can
the
reuse
front
it.
of the look of the building, the front of here, nothing on the front is going to change. I would strongly support our allowing a business to grow. So,
I'd be surprised there's that many people there.
yeah, really.
I thought fleet weather.
And that kind of
two guys
operation.
in there monitoring the weather.
Well, if you got to buy a sunny day, you got to go to these guys, and you know.
So do I have a motion to advertise?
Absolutely.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
Item number 14, Appeal 3692 San Marco. Maria San Marco, 2 Chase Court, Wapengers Falls, is requesting a 17-foot sideline variance for an existing 12-foot by 8-foot shed pursuant to Section 194-107 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening. All right, we haven't seen your application before, so if you don't mind, just take us through. Your
Sure.
application says it's been there for 20 years.
Probably
Did
more
you-
than 20 years. The
did you
original
put it
owner.
there?
No, the original owner installed it.
That's good for us to know, so.
Yes.
So you're not looking to change the location, what condition is it in?
It's an old shed. It probably can't be moved. I'm afraid it might not withstand a move, and our septic fields are all in the backyard. The
Okay.
only place that's level enough to put it would be on the side yard, but we're a corner lot, and I think what I've learned tonight is if you're on a corner lot, you have 2 front yards. Is
Right,
that
you're
what-
on a corner lot?
Right,
Oh,
so it's
geez.
really the best place for it to remain where it is.
Oh, yeah, it's on the other side, you're safe, wow.
And my neighbor doesn't, he has no problem with it. I have a letter from him stating that.
Okay, the question is, why are you looking to resolve
We're
this?
trying to sell our house, and we don't want to have to take the shed down because it's a great place to store tools and bicycles and golf clubs and all that.
Okay, but really, you're not gonna be there to benefit from it
Well, I
being
will
there.
be if we can't sell our house. We'll remain where we are.
Violation, yeah. We have to clear it up as a violation, so.
So the person who's at 2 Chase Court is the one that is right next to the shed, is that right? The person who wrote the letter for you?
That's my neighbor at 4 Chase Court. He's
She's
my
2
neighbor
Chase Court.
directly, his property line and my property
She's 2
line
Chase.
meets.
Correct. So my question was that the person who is, the neighbor who's closest to the shed is the one who wrote the letter?
Correct.
Okay, that's all right,
We only have neighbors on the one side.
correct.
Okay. I agree. You've got a very, very long lot, but again, because of the frontage, because of the fact that you're on a corner lot, it really makes limited use of part of your lot. Where's your septic?
And smack dab in the middle of the backyard.
So that limits your ability to move it around a whole lot.
Right, and the rest of the yard is unlevel,
So
different.
it's pretty close to the top of the driveway,
It's 17 feet from the end of the driveway.
Right. Motion to advertise?
So moved.
What color is, thank you, all in favor? Aye. What color is it? Does it
Same
match
as
your
the
house?
The
Okay.
exact same color scheme as the house.
If you could take a picture for next month?
There is pictures, I included pictures. There was, I think, 4 pictures.
They're hiding them on us.
I don't have a picture.
They're hiding them on us. Let's see if we have them.
No, we didn't get the pictures.
Let's see if Pam has them.
Can you just bring it next week?
Well,
Or
if
next
Pam
time?
has it, she can make copies of it.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah, I don't want to have, if she submitted a complete application, we should be looking at the complete application. There we go.
Look at that.
We have pictures.
Well, picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yeah, no, this is very, very nicely maintained. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Just make sure that you use a permanent marker when you mark on your sign.
Okay.
And make sure it's posted so everybody knows.
Okay, do we just put it on the corner of the lot, or?
Pam will give you written instructions. So do I have a motion to advertise?
Yeah, we did.
I did do it, you're right, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's all approved.
Just on this one picture, there's something here?
A tree.
No,
I don't know what you're looking at.
maybe, well, I don't know.
It might be the neighbor's.
Looks like a tree with, is that on a neighbor's property?
That's my neighbor's shed.
Okay. No wonder
Where's
they
your
want,
neighbor's
no wonder
shed?
they want you to take the word there.
Take care of that one, too.
No wonder they're giving you a letter.
Okay, thank you.
Let's put these back in the file before.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. It's amazing what we find out while we're here. All right, number 15, Appeal 3693 Rojas. Henry L. Rojas, 9 Cooper's Lane, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a variance to allow a proposed 676 square foot garage to be located in front of the front line of the dwelling pursuant to section 194-107C of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
What's up, stranger?
How are you?
Hey, you know.
So you're back. We've seen this property before.
Listen, we did an improvement on this property that
I'm
everybody's
glad to
going to
hear it.
love.
Thank you.
I think we whittled the size down a little bit. I think we're doing 26 by 26 detached.
Okay.
On the side of the house, in line with the garage, moved slightly back from where we had it before. I think we all agreed.
It was going to be too visible
It
where
is
it
a
was
little bit.
before.
Let's be
okay?
honest. And it was
So
slightly
now
larger.
if you're going up the driveway, it's going to be
Going
closer
up-
to the house.
Closer to the house, off to the side slightly. The area was actually cleared when they were doing the house construction, so as far as vegetation coming down, there's really just
Okay.
small undergrowth that has popped up over the years. Around the edge of that existing driveway, you see how that circular
Yep.
turn toward the back there? Mr. Rojas has actually gone ahead and planted some evergreens, let's say like every 15 foot on center. So there's actually like a natural cleared area that he'd like to put the garage and probably remove 3 or 4 of those pines and probably take them and replant them on the side of the structure.
Okay.
But again, in front of the board to hopefully have a better location.
So what would you say it was moved back 20 feet, 25 feet? What's the?
I would say you're probably 45, 55.
Okay, all right.
yeah.
Yeah. But before
It was in the front of it.
yeah.
Yeah, and before, I think we were actually in front of the, if you're looking at the drawing, we were actually
in front of
adjacent
the
from the
top of the
front.
driveway.
Yeah, from the
Yeah.
front sidewalk there.
Yeah.
In fact, this is, if you go along the house, you're behind the rear line of the house now. But you got the front lot in terms of Palin Road.
Right, and the
Makes it
reason,
more,
and the reason why we kind of have it in that location, it's a natural flat spot as you come around the driveway. If you look like directly behind, as you're coming straight up the driveway, you see that the topo actually shows it kind of going up slightly. It goes up about 6 feet. There's actually some really heavy exposed rock that's right there.
Right.
We were just trying to avoid the whole blasting and hammering issue, just because you have a pool fairly close to the house, and
Right, so again, it's important to get on the record that this is a very steep slope lot. The developability of the backyard there is very limited. My personal opinion, this is a much better location than what we had previously seen. Yes, it is still in the front yard, but only because, again, this property has 2 front yards. Palin Road, but there is a non-disturbance easement along the Palin Road side, so there's always going to be vegetation that would be blocking this.
right, we got a 50-foot non-disturbance easement riding along the section at Palin Road. Plus, the furthest dimension from actually the corner of the proposed garage to the property line is 152 feet, so there's actually another 100 foot.
Yep.
Let's say 75 foot plus the 50, because we need some clearing for the grading around the garage, but there's a substantial green area.
that's much more acceptable to me. I'm ready.
Yeah.
So-
Motion to advertise.
Hold on. This was going to be a 2-story, though, if I remember correctly.
Is it-
Is that?
It's a 2-car garage. I believe the second story, it's kind of a half story.
Okay.
Mainly used for storage. I don't know if we can pass this around to the board?
Are there stairs to it? Is there access to it?
Access for storage only.
Is there heating in there?
So
No
it's like
residential use in there?
No bathrooms, bedrooms, housing for kids.
Not a lot of room up there. top of the windows, but that was 6 feet 8 inches tall, if it was. I'm not even sure it is. You don't have a lot of space in between, you've got what?
Yeah, it's kind of like
12 feet going
Right,
down the middle.
between, by the time you got to deal with the roof lines.
It's like a cave type thing, but the roofs are not a 12 pitch.
So I have a
Yeah,
motion.
The other one was a lot bigger.
Yeah.
I have a motion to advertise.
So
Do
Yes.
you have a second? All in
Second.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Brian, you need this back, or can we put this in the file?
You guys can keep it if you want.
Or you can email it to Pam if you want. If you
Give it to Pam. Well, yeah, give it to her. We'll stop by and chat tomorrow.
Pam will give you your instructions.
He knows.
All right, item number 16, Appeal 3694, Torres Martinez. Jestly? Okay, thank you. Torres Martinez, 10 Kent Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a 45-foot rear line and a 5-foot sideline variance for a proposed deck, a 5-foot rear line and a 5-foot sideline variance for a proposed 30-foot above-ground pool, and a 10-foot rear line and a 5-foot sideline variance for a proposed patio pursuant to sections 194-94, 194-95, and 194-93 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
All right, so again, first time we're seeing your application. If you could take us through what you're requesting and then explain the limitations of why you're proposing it for the area that you've got, okay?
Sure. Well, all right, I'm proposing a 30-foot round pool
Okay.
with two above ground that I mentioned, and a 25 by 30 patio, and a 23 by 25 patio. And connecting both will be a deck around the pool, connecting the total. Now, I have a property that's 100 by 200. The back itself, from the rear of the house to the rear of the property line, is approximately about the most 125 feet. I really have limited room due to my leach fields. As you can see, the septic is right behind the house into a distribution box, which distributes actually to pretty much 2 feet before where I have this at. So if I were to shift this anymore to the north, I would be in my leach field. If I shifted it pretty much anywhere, I would be some kind of concern needing a variance because it's a small lot, it's a short lot, 100 feet across. Now, also, this area here is actually sloping down where it would help me out, where I would have to excavate less and all to that extent. I have a bush line all the way across. I have grown trees all the way behind. This would be the only area where I do not have a bush line, but if need be, I would put a bush line, or if not, a stockade fence around the whole property. I've also brought pictures if y'all guys would like to see.
Yeah.
Always. Thank you.
This is looking straight back.
Who's digging what?
No, that was, I do my own, I would removing a tree, right?
Okay.
A large tree.
This play equipment is yours, or
Yes,
is?
that play equipment is mine, that would be removed totally, that's coming out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You can see some of the bush line here, this is where the tree was, that's where you may see a notch out, but I will fill that in with no problem. As you can see, depression area, where you see all these logs is where my property line is, I just have the logs there because I had kids running through before we had issues with that product.
So is this the neighbor to your
Yes,
west?
that is my neighbor
They have a pool?
to my west, yes, that pool.
That's what I needed to ask, actually. Is that, the pool that we see on the aerial is your neighbor's?
Correct. The pool you see to the west is my neighbor, correct.
Okay. So your application, I think, was missing, yeah, you were actually missing the dimensions here, so.
Yes, I'm sorry, the deck dimension is, I'm assuming what you're speaking of?
Yeah.
It's just gonna be 10 feet from the widest point of the pool,
It's 10 feet from the widest, say that again?
the widest part of the pool, where the pool will
Yes.
widen at the middle, at the 15-foot.
So that's just for the patio, or that's to your property line?
No, it'll be from the edge of the pool, speaking of the
Come
north.
on up for a
Sure.
second.
This is the survey that I have. I don't know what this distance is. I don't know what this distance
I'm
is.
sorry. Yeah, I came and corrected. I'm not.
Oh, you did come and You correct did. it? Oh, okay,
Come and
all right.
corrected. I apologize. As for C, I'm gonna have 10 feet.
So it's 10 feet of
Yes.
open space, 10 feet of patio on the
Correct.
left side of,
And on this side,
all right, and on the back, it's
5 and
Fi-
10 for the deck.
5 feet and 10 feet of patio,
Correct.
Deck.
or deck,
Yeah.
sorry. It's a raised deck,
Yes. It's gonna be raised-
surrounded by patios.
Yes, with 2 patios on either side.
And your septic is here.
My septic would be here, but my
Your
leach
tank.
fields, all my leach fields run this way.
Okay.
If I need to remove any leach fields for any somewhat reason in the future, it's not really wise to cover them.
No, it's never wise to cover them.
Yeah.
We agree.
So are you going to stairs down to these patios, or?
No, this, to be honest with you, this all slopes down, so this would be a lower elevation here, which I'll vegetize, but, this will actually be walk, step up. I want to do a retaining wall, small retaining wall, where the pool sit there, and I will have maybe 1 or 2 steps to the pool, and I'll have a full fence around it.
Why
Right.
2 patios?
You had me a little confused. It's a above-ground pool, but you're excavating it down?
I'm gonna drop it down to maybe about 36 inches
Okay,
on the
that's-
front side.
So that's why you don't need steps going
Yeah,
down.
on the front side. The whole back side is gonna be off limits. The deck will be sitting up higher, you know. I will have
So does it need a
access to-
fence then?
Well, you need a fence in the
Yeah, for the pool, I would definitely need a fence.
Where's your fence?
I didn't know that I needed to have this in this
Not
for the variance.
For us, do we?
For the variance, I thought all this was just for setbacks.
Well,
Sure.
I'm agreeing with you, but you should really be showing us everything that you're gonna need to do, so we take a look at it in a holistic
I
way.
apologize.
Are these for the file? Okay, just so that we'll have them?
Can you move the pool at all? I mean, to reduce at least some of the variance? You only need 5 feet.
I left my
5
copy
feet
up there.
Yeah, you only need 5 feet in.
And why 2 patios?
I know, that's, can we move it 5 feet in,
This way?
this way? Then you don't need a variance on that side.
Pool has to be 25 feet away.
Patio has to be
Yeah, I'm at
15 feet in.
15 feet away.
And he's at 10, so if he moves 5 feet in,
You're
you don't need a
reducing-
variance on that whole side. You probably heard our discussion about pools not being a necessity, being recreational.
Absolutely, I understand.
There's usually a lot of loud noise associated with pools, so the further away they are from the neighbors, generally the better.
You bust your chops and say, make the pool 25 instead of 30.
I already wanted the pool, please don't say that.
Well, that,
I should-
really, that's,
Yeah. I mean, I'm a growing family, you know what I mean?
I
I'm
understand
young,
that, and I
And I
understand.
moved here from the city, and like, I have no desire to move anywhere. I work, my shop is here in Grangeville, so this is real convenient for me. Just like I said, like she said, it is recreation, I do understand.
What type of shop do you have?
Excuse me?
What type of shop?
I'm actually a local 46 iron worker. I do reinforced concrete.
You don't bring much
and
work
iron
home then?
Excuse me?
You don't
he's
bring much
not
work.
doing work in his house.
No, not.
There's no business at your
No,
home.
no, I'm a union, I build high rises.
I know.
Big
Yeah.
things.
And you're going down here. No,
Can
see,
we
this
move
is
it
the
over
problem.
5
We
feet?
gotta,
I mean, it.
we have the law, and our obligation is to enforce the law, but we have this appeals process for hardship cases, but you have to really prove a hardship, because you want it there is not a hardship. So, by us saying, don't want to do that, well, you can reduce the pool down to 25 feet, takes care of the problem, you don't need a
Right.
variance. In fact, you reduce it greatly on the other side. So whatever you can do without encroaching too much on your drainage system is move it over. Try to reduce the amount of variances that you need. That's what we're trying to, that's our job, to see if you can do that, and it looks to me like you can do that, at least on the one
I mean,
side.
on one side, we can move that 5 feet, that's not too much of a problem.
That would be really helpful. I understand you might not be able to move it forward because of your leach
Sure,
fields.
sure.
But then we get into the discussion of why do you need 2 patios? Because they both need variances, so,
Well,
no,
they
if you
don't.
move it in on the one side, then the one doesn't need one patio doesn't need a variance
Sure, I
anymore.
wouldn't need no variance on
Right.
the
So that-
west side.
Would that get in the way of the septic field?
That's the only issue. I imagine, like I said, my septic field's on a diagonal.
Yeah, but you got it 25 feet wide. Maybe you just make it 20 feet wide instead of 25, and then you haven't lost that 5 feet.
I'll prefer to just move it over 5 feet.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay, that's good.
I have no problem with that.
All right, so that eliminates all the variances for the side yard.
Sure.
So the question is, the other patio, you're proposing that only 5 feet from the property line. Can't that move up?
Again, as has been mentioned, I think it's the septic field is right there diagonally. So
Yeah, it's a very short property.
So why can't he put it more around the
It's so,
pool?
it's like, I don't have, like, it's a short property, it's only 100 feet,
But
you know
can
what I
you
mean?
make it 5 feet of deck in the back and cut off 5 feet of the patio? So it's just slightly in closer.
Or why does the patio have to line up with the end of the deck? It doesn't necessarily have to line up with the end of the deck.
I see.
You put a plant, you put a planter or something at the end of it and have a nice little landscaped area behind it, and...
Well, for the deck, he's gonna need the variance too, that's a structure, so.
No, I understand that, and I can understand the reason to have a deck around a pool.
Okay.
But to also then need such a large patio area, maybe the patio area doesn't need to be as close to the property line.
Yeah.
Is it possible to move your patio just 5 feet further away from the property line?
Well,
Closer to the leachway?
One dilemma is going to be, are we now then putting it too close to the other
But
property
shorten it
line?
instead of just cut off 5 feet.
Well-
So it's 5 feet in the back. It doesn't
No,
have to
it's-
be even on both sides.
Yeah.
You know, if this was here.
Do you understand what we're saying, asking?
Could you just, run that by me?
If one side of the pool is a 10-foot deck, right? You guys are talking about the deck. If one side's a 10-foot deck, can the back area be only a 5-foot deck?
Sure, I mean, I don't see why not, and the great design of it, I mean, I don't see why not.
Let's talk it through. You've got you want to put a chair up there, you're going
That's
to want
right,
to
I
put a
mean-
box for storage for the kids' playthings
I
in the
mean,
pool.
for like the deck, the 10 feet.
Right.
If you get a reclining chair where someone wants to lay down and tan
Right.
or something like that.
But you have the
that's
patios for that, too.
That's approximately, a average size of a person is about 6 feet, you know what I mean? And I'm just wanting to leave enough space for a person to walk by them if
Right.
need be. If I have a party, kids party and stuff to that extent, you know what I mean? It may look like a lot of area, but if I use one area for grilling and the other area for the children.
Okay, but you're talking about the patio or the deck? You're not going to be grilling on the deck.
I'm sorry, no, I'm talking about the
Yeah.
patio, yeah.
And we're not talking about reducing the patio area on that side.
That's what I'm saying, they're all the same, you gotta need the variance.
Well, if he's moved it all over the 25 feet, it does the patio area, we don't really care what size that is.
No, you got the patio in the back too, you got.
Well, the patio, but let's focus on the deck first. Your grilling and stuff would be on the patio, so
Correct.
I agree. You're gonna have more, you're watching the kids in the pool kind of thing going on as opposed to,
But the pool is also going to be down lower, so you can
you
see
can do
from
if you
the
can see it from the
patios.
patio, right? So your lounge chair
It's like,
could be more on the patio.
it's all gonna be one level up top. You know,
Right.
it's all gonna be one level. It's gonna be a walkout to a walkout to, all the way around
Right.
to walking out
But
to each
you're
other.
not necessarily gonna have a lounge chair up top, 6 feet long, that you have to worry about people getting by. That's as we were talking through, why the 10 feet? You wanna be able to walk by.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying, like I said, this is something that I see for the future, for the next 10, 20 years, so I need to think about everything now that I may need a little space in the future for this or anything like that. I'm also gonna I gotta put a fence around that backside. I'm gonna bring that in a couple inches. A lot of things play to the small factors.
All right, but you've already got at least 10 feet by 30 feet right now. And so that's why we're asking, and some of the areas around the curves of the pool, it's gonna be more than 10 feet. So that's why we're asking, can you cut 5 feet off the back? So instead of having the 10-foot deck by at least 10 feet by 30 feet, you actually have 10 feet by 40 feet. Can it really only be 10 feet by 35 feet, the deck?
Sure.
All right, because then we have reduced the variance again, the back variance. We've eliminated the variance on the left, and now we reduced it. But you still have a 10-foot, at least 10-foot wide by 35 feet. All right, and it still gives you 5 feet around that side of the pool. That's an extensive area to be able to have use around your pool.
Sure.
Okay?
And the 5 feet is only where the round area is, because you'll have more on as you.
Sure, it's a round
Yeah,
pool.
exactly, you'll have more than the 5 feet
As a
around the
curve.
curves.
Curves, correct.
Thank you,
have
good
the one
points. All
walkway area there.
right, so you're going to cut this back deck down 5 feet.
So we're looking for a,
So that's now going to be 10 feet from the property line.
For the patio and the deck.
The 18.
And the pool's moved over, but the pool is still looking for a 10-foot variance.
well, you got, yeah, for the back.
Yeah, I was unclear about that. It's 25 also for the back, correct?
But again, because of where his leach fields are, his ability to move it any further is very limited. I mean, really, it probably doesn't exist, your ability to move it
And
any.
it's a
Yeah, it
small
really
lot
doesn't.
anyway, so.
It's a very small lot. It's under half an acre.
Yeah.
All right, and so then the patio to the right of the pool is now going to be, well, the patio's going to be fine now. Because it was already at 15, well, no,
5 feet.
it was at 5 feet,
at
it's
five.
now going to start at 10 feet.
Yes.
So that still needs a 5-foot variance then for the patio.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay?
Sure.
That's easy.
What you just agreed to, right? What I just do.
Sure.
John, should he be coming into the office and amending his application?
You should.
I have not applied yet because I wanted to see what was going to happen.
No. This
Oh.
application.
Sure. I
The
could be-
application you filed to this
Sure.
board, you really should come in
Sure.
and provide a new drawing for us, so it's you understand what we're asking
An
for.
amended narrative.
Yeah.
Amended narrative.
Okay? And if,
So you want a whole new,
no, not a whole new application, just looking, take your survey and just draw it on there.
okay, no
Or
problem.
Take, if this isn't a survey
Don't
per
worry.
se,
Sure.
right, make it clear this is your
Sure.
proposed area on the drawing,
You got it.
okay? Okay.
But we want no variances to be granted on the side, and the back,
Correct.
we're looking at granting, if it goes that way, for a 10-foot variance for the pool and a 5-foot variance
For the patio. And that's it. And then we're good. Well, no, because we still need the
The deck.
10-foot variance for
Yeah,
the,
it's a combination.
no, we need a 15-foot variance for the deck,
Right.
Yep.
because that's only 10 feet in. It's only 5 feet
I
in.
thought it was supposed, I thought it was a 15 feet.
No, we
Patio's
moved it
10
10 feet in,
Yeah, patio would be 15 feet.
And it's
because we
gotta be
cut that deck back.
But the setback,
So
the actual
that's
set-
gonna be 10 feet, so we still need a 15-foot variance for the deck,
Yep,
Correct.
correct.
from rear line.
I thought the rear line setback was 15, just, I could be wrong.
No, it's
It's
25.
25, I'm sorry.
The patio is the 15.
Okay.
The deck still, this deck needs 25. Okay. Clear as mud?
And on the,
Did I miss something? What about the sideline variance for the deck?
Sideline variances are eliminated, because he's gonna move it over 5 feet.
well, but the deck needs 25 feet. Sorry.
That's the math I was just.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so we took care of the patio, we took care of the pool, but we didn't complete the deck.
Right.
So the deck is gonna be 15 feet in, that still needs a 10-foot
10-foot.
variance on the side,
That's fine.
okay? But you're still gonna get the size of the deck that we talked about.
Sure.
But because you're moving it 5 feet in, you still need a 5-foot variance.
Sure.
But it's not a variance for the
But just
pool
for
in
the-
any
yeah,
of these
the deck
cases.
and the-
That's, no, it is, for the rear line is
For
still.
the rear line,
It
right.
is still.
Sideline.
It's gonna be a long night.
No, sideline's okay. right?
Sidelines, okay for the pool, but not for the deck.
Well,
They need a 10-foot.
wait a minute.
The deck is gonna be 15 feet in, so it's still gonna need a 10-foot sideline variance.
Sure.
The deck is gonna be 15 feet.
I think we should do it just
So
looking
you
at the.
need a 5-foot
Correct.
sideline for the pool.
No,
The pool's gonna be moved in
25.
5 feet more, so that's gonna be in
Yeah.
25 feet.
Correct. So from the sideline, the pool, I think what we should do is look at one item at a time. So looking at the pool, from the sideline, the pool is okay. From the back,
No, from the side, because it's gonna get moved over 5 feet.
so we are okay from the sideline.
But from the
From the
back-
back,
It's only 15 feet,
Feet,
so
correct.
it's still, the pool needs a
10-foot rear line variance.
Correct, so that's just for just the pool portion. The patio is fine on the sideline, but on the back, for the second patio, he would need 15 feet, because he's moving it 10 feet, or 5 feet, I guess.
He's moving it 5 feet, so the patio is okay, because the
No,
patio only needs a 15-foot.
No, the back patio.
The back patio, okay.
Yeah, so the first patio is fine, the one that's closer to the house, that's fine, the one that's behind.
Needs a 5-foot variance.
Correct, that's for the patio. And then the third issue is the deck issue, and then we should just break it up.
And so that's going to be 10 foot with another 5 feet, so the deck will need a 10-foot rear line variance.
Really, correct. And then a
And
10-foot.
15-foot sideline.
No,
deck.
because he's moving it 15 feet, so he would need 10
He's
foot.
moving it 5 feet. 10, okay. This one, he's moving in 5 feet, so you're right, he only needs 10 feet.
10 feet for the deck.
10 foot for the sideline variance.
Yeah.
Okay? So 10-foot rear line for the variance for the pool, 5-foot rear line variance for the patio, a 10-foot rear line variance for the deck, and a 10-foot sideline variance for the deck.
Yep.
We're all clear?
He's gonna show him in his application.
Sorry, just,
No problem, take your time. Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
One more time.
We raised a good
Yeah.
point before, so I'd rather now than
The
later.
variance for the deck is how much?
This, which
Rear
variance?
line.
Rear
Rear line
line
for the deck.
for the deck is gonna be 10 feet. Because he's
He
got
needs
15 feet. He's got 5 foot now behind,
No, I think it's.
For the deck, I got 10 feet now. So if I move
15.
south
Needs to be
5 feet, I have,
okay, you're right. Because he's got 5, we're
Yeah.
cutting back the deck from 10 feet to 5 feet.
Needs a 15-foot.
So
Rear
it's
line.
15
Rear line.
feet for the rear line for the deck. Wow.
It's gonna be some minutes.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Lisa. Okay, anything else?
I think I'm okay.
Motion to
everyone's
advertise?
okay with that? Just make sure.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor? Aye. Pam will give you your instructions to your
Thank you very
sign.
much.
Next Wednesday, September.
When- yeah.
September 10th.
He's heard it enough times. Okay. Public hearing. Item number 17, Appeal 3695, Mid-Hudson Development Corp. Mid-Hudson Development Corp. is requesting a variance to build on an undersized lot, .93 of an acre, in an R1 zone located at 6 Old Fishkill Hook Road, Hopewell Junction, pursuant to Section 194-130 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening. The application before the board,
Your name, please?
my first name is John, last name is Getz. I'm a representative of Mid-Hudson Development. The application before the board, I believe, contains quite a lengthy legal interpretation that was put together by my attorney. I'm not sure if the town attorney had a chance to review. I'm asking the board if they would allow us to continue this discussion next month and allow the town attorney proper time to review the application.
Oh, the town attorney we're ready to go. Unless you're not prepared to. I mean, in essence, you're telling us the board has an obligation or a responsibility to hear a new appeal and not rely on the previous appeal of this board.
Understood. So what I'm asking
We're
is
okay to move.
if we can continue this next month instead of tonight.
The applicant's attorney called me this afternoon and said he wasn't going to show tonight, didn't want to run up a bill on the applicant, do it by bringing an engineer and attorney.
Okay.
He said he assumed tonight the board was going to take a first reading, first blush at their submission dated July 25th. He didn't think there was going to be substantive movement, so your attorney indicated he wasn't going to show tonight, that you would possibly show.
Do you want to have initial discussion?
I
You
was
just
on-
want to wait till next month?
You know, why don't we wait till next month? I was under the impression that he wanted me to ask to put this off until next month.
He didn't think there was going to be an up or down vote tonight, so you didn't.
That's fine, that's fine.
It's not going to be a vote.
Well,
That-
I know, but that's.
Well, there's issues, his legal,
Well, let's take that. I mean, are we agreeing that we're going to go forward and hear the application? Is that what we're saying tonight?
Well, I think he wants a further review to now that.
Well, I mean,
Tom's review at my prep meeting was that
No, the board will go forward.
The board has
So
to
the
review the
legal issue in
application.
terms of res judicata is resolved. We're not going to apply res judicata. Is that what we're telling them?
Well, it's kind of two stories. Number one, he cites some cases that say just because you had a previous application doesn't stop another application, there's no res judicata. The question is whether that set of facts, that set of laws, the cases that he recites, do they apply in this case?
Okay, but that's what I'm trying to get. That's
Norma-
what we're saying.
I'm sorry.
If he's requesting that it be put over, is that still on the table, the issue of whether we will consider the request?
Everything's on the table.
Okay.
He thought there was going to be an initial discussion with the applicant tonight, didn't want to put together an applicant's team that would cost the gentleman so much money tonight.
Yeah, and, I think his interpretation, my attorney's interpretation, I'm not going to be able to answer questions that the board may have when it pertains to the law, so the board can...
I thought you read both cases, too.
That's fine.
So you may have questions that I can't answer, so I don't want to waste your time, basically.
Okay, we can put it
But
over
again,
for another
the-
review. It's going to be a review night, though. It's not going to be for a
Yeah, we're not
public
going
hearing.
on for a public hearing
No,
until this
review.
board understands what.
That's fine, if the board wants to review, I'm just letting the board know, some of the, it's quite lengthy, his interpretation, and it's...
That's fine.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine. I'm just trying to make sure I have in my mind what we're exactly doing for next time.
Right.
But again, I thought that, the applicant had withdrawn the last appeal, if I remember correctly, so we really need...
No, there was an appeal years ago,
Oh, okay.
before most of our time on this board.
96 and 98.
Yeah, there's
Okay.
quite a bit of history. My lawyer has spent quite a bit of time...
And that's why we'll need to spend some time understanding the
Yes.
history of this lot,
Okay.
compensation and others that, the owners of this lot have gotten over the years. No problem, next time,
Okay, we'll see you next month.
So
Thank
it'll be
you.
review next week, next time.
next month,
Next month review.
Further review. Thank you so much.
Wednesday, September 10th.
All right, take care.
Thank you. All right, item number 18, Appeal 3696 Feely. Edward Feely, 34 Frost Road, Wappingers Falls, is requesting a variance to allow an existing 12-foot by 8-foot shed and a proposed 20-foot by 24-foot carport in front of his existing house pursuant to Section 194-107B of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
Good evening.
It's not too late. All right, take us through your application, please.
Okay, I would like to build a carport, 20 by 24.
Explain what it's gonna look like. In
It's
my
gonna-
mind,
it's
it's
gonna
metal
look-
poles with a little...
It's going to have a metal roof that matches the metal roof on the house. It's
Okay.
going to have screening on the side made out of T111, which is the same siding as the house,
So
painted.
it's actually enclosed.
Well, it's going to have, let me just show you the drawings that I have of it, and also some photographs.
Sure.
Now, I live on, sorry, my apologies. Need a couple
Aziz
different
wanted to go
copies.
home anyway.
Okay, these are all the, basically.
This is your driveway? your
From
end?
the driveway, yeah, so.
Jim, that's for you and Barb, for you guys to share down
Yeah, so this
there. Okay,
is
so go
from-
ahead.
This is from
The
one side of the
roadway?
cul-de-sac, right? So this is looking down the driveway, then the next one is just another view of the driveway and the house in the background.
Okay.
And that's just another view of the.
Okay, so you have a really vegetated front yard.
Right, there's.
It's not,
Just all the way the front yard.
people from the cul-de-sac don't see your house, really.
Right, yeah.
They see two sets of windows, that's about it.
Right, and this is the drawing. I had made copies of these. I don't know if you have.
Yeah, we have it, yeah.
Yeah, you can take that. There you go.
Right, and one thing before you were asking about the carport, this is like, the siding is gonna be T111, just there, open, the metal roofing.
What am I, you're proposing to put this in the front of your house, which, based on the driveway, it's actually appearing to be in the only visible portion of your house. So what am I gonna be looking at from the street? What am I gonna see?
You're gonna be, well, actually, like.
It's probably gonna be right here, right?
Correct.
What am I
Correct.
gonna
So you're gonna
see?
be seeing just the front of it. Like, right now, there's actually, the shed is over there. You can't even see the shed. You know,
So you're proposing the T-111 isn't
Oh,
even
it's
gonna go
be
all the
on-
way
on-
up?
On this, no, it's gonna be on the.
Is this
on the
a side view?
That's the side view.
Okay,
So when you're coming in, it's,
but again, it doesn't go all the way up?
no.
Is your house all the way in the back of your property?
It's in the center of the property.
Why wouldn't he go all the way out?
I just was figuring that it's gonna be about maybe 6 foot, just, open,
I'm
kind of
confused.
craftsman, airy style.
I'm confused as to where you want to put it. It's not registered for some reason.
On the drawing he gave you, turn it around really, so that the cul-de-sac is,
Here's the cul-de-sac, here's the entry. This is the shed, he's putting it right here. Here's the existing shed, and you're putting it which side of the shed?
We can't put it really
well,
behind.
you've got a shed in the front yard. Do you have a variance for your
That's
shed?
what I was asking for, the variance in there
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
one of the items, yeah.
For the shed as well.
Oh, you're asking for that.
Right, because I didn't know that was considered front.
All right, let's get to the shed in a minute. Let's finish with the carport. So what's the distance between the carport and the house?
That's gonna be 6 foot.
Yeah, so there's a shed, the carport, and the house.
Right.
Why can't the carport go on the driveway?
Why can't it go at the end of the driveway?
Because actually, this is, because that's where the septic is, and the leach fields are down over here.
That's what we needed to know. Okay. Is your,
And then
is
the-
your purpose to create more parking here, or why
Well,
can't,
there's-
or do you just want covered parking?
I want covered parking, and because as it is right now, I don't have my reading glasses on, but you can see I do park over there. I have
Yeah.
a truck over there that's parked there, and a vehicle as well.
Okay.
So there is parking there. I just want it covered.
And so 20 foot by 24 feet, it's gonna be double wide in essence?
So-
You'll be
so
able
from
to
two
accommodate
vehicles,
two
correct.
vehicles? But the 20 feet, yeah, that you'll be, well, you're not enclosing really the
Standard
front
garage is
area.
24 by 24.
24, right, so there's no more depth in it
It's a two-car
beyond
garage,
just the
though.
cars.
It's not built like a garage. It's
Right.
yeah. So it's,
Is this tree gonna be,
Are you gonna have to take down any trees?
Right now, no.
It's gotta be off.
this tree, because that's the biggest tree up there.
Let me just get my reading glasses.
Yeah, I mean, the corner's over the property line, this has gotta be pushed back.
Yeah.
50
Imagine
feet.
it where
That
the
line
car
would be
is
no
now.
spot.
Most probably this one, yeah.
Would any of these trees need to come
No,
down?
that's actually a telephone pole
okay.
that's going in there. That tree is staying. There's actually
No,
two-
this tree, I'm talking about.
No,
this tree.
that's not coming down. That tree is not
Okay,
coming
so
down.
basically where the cars are parked right now, that's where the porch is gonna go.
You wanna
Yes.
put a roof over them?
I just want to put a, yeah,
Okay.
basically, and it's gonna look, I want it so when, people come over, that it's, looks like it's belongs there, that it's, it's gonna be the same color,
Well, I have to
that-
be honest, I'm concerned, right now, with the screening that you have, I'm not worried about it. But I'm concerned that at some point, somebody's gonna clean up the front of that, not clean it up that it's looking bad now, but they're gonna wanna open it up, and then from the road, people are gonna be looking at this carport.
Okay, well, it is a cul-de-sac, so it's not like,
It's
there's
the main part of the street,
It's
right.
right, that people are driving by on a regular basis. It's just my neighbors, the Browns on one side, Mrs. Higgs on the other side.
And plus, the thing is, this carport is going to be at an angle to the cul-de-sac, so it's not like,
Right, you're not
If you're
looking like
at
it's,
this picture, you're gonna be looking at the carport where those cars are now?
right here,
Yeah.
right there, right behind here,
It's gonna block the house.
behind the
It's gonna
big.
block the house, right?
I think it's gotta go back further.
Looks like you have a big area of brush.
Why can't it go back further?
it starts to slope.
This area
with a
right here?
rock in the back there.
Behind where your other car is, in this area? You can put it right there.
That's where the leach fields are. There's the leach fields, and that slopes down, and the septics at the end of the driveway there.
I'm gonna have to take a look at it. He didn't show us pictures of the rocks and that sort of stuff.
Yeah, do you mind if I come out and do a site visit and
I
take
mean,
a couple more pictures?
You got a nice
You-
4-square
you-
house there. Now, from the road view, you wanna put a metal carport in front of it. I'm not sure, so
Well,
aesthetically, I'm not sure how that helps.
No, I don't mind. I mean, the inspector, when she came out, she took a look and she said that everything was, you know, the setbacks were fine and all that.
Yeah, if the chair wants to do a site visit, I'm good with that.
I want to take you guys some more pictures because.
Okay.
This is
I have some other pictures on my phone if you want to take a look at them.
Do you have it inside, get me inside the vegetation, that's what I'm trying to get a look at. Because if I'm really worried if that vegetation goes away, you're not gonna see your house really, you're gonna, somebody's attention is gonna be so drawn to this carport that it's.
You couldn't put it on the other side of the driveway
That's where his leach fields are, and he's got a property line.
Well, over here, that's the property line, and that there's really not enough room, and that slopes down.
Well, I mean, it doesn't look like it's,
Can you just cover part of the,
doesn't like that.
why not here then? Why not on the driveway itself?
That's where the front door is. There's 2 doors there, and it's
Wow.
just kind of.
I really need, I think I need to see this. Is this for us, or is that yours?
That's
Your
mine.
front door's on the far side where your septic leach fields are, is that what you said?
It's the front door is right here.
So, because you can see a railing, there's like a little porch there, or deck?
Yeah, there's a little deck there, and then steps go up in a deck, and there's a large deck area in the back.
I'd like to see what's here. I mean, I can see where this is going up, but I don't know how much excavation and stuff. I would like it tucked over there. That's what
But
I
the chair,
think.
yeah, but
I think the most-
chair is going to go visit.
I'm willing to.
I understand that, I'm just explaining to him, I'm not.
I'm right off the Hillside Lake Road, so I'm not that far
You're gonna have a hard
away.
time convincing me that it's gonna be in front
Right.
where you're saying you want it. I'm agreeing with the chair that if something happens where that opens up, a
Right.
couple of those trees fall down in a windstorm, whatever,
It's,
and again, you got a fairly attractive house, and you're gonna have a metal carport in front of it. I don't,
This is like a closer photo.
oh, that helps, all right.
So, I mean, like, as it is, that's where, like, you can't even really see that from.
You
from
can't
the
see that
road.
from the cul-de-sac, I get that, you see this car,
Right, yeah.
but, and so your
that's gonna be-
doorway into your home is over
Yeah,
here.
Right, so.
Wow, so that's why you don't want to cover up this area there.
Right, yeah.
And
So
so I
that's-
see you also have a grade difference here, your property goes up.
Yes.
Even over here, it
Yeah.
looks like it's going up.
Right, and that's where it starts to go up, and then I'd have to
Yeah.
just excavate.
That makes it a lot clearer to me. I'm not sure I agree with it, but I just worry about a carport being in the front of a home.
mere fact that goes up is not the issue. The question is, I mean, if you have rock that needs blasting, that would be something else.
Well, it's really just a lot of shale in there.
So are you going to have a cement bottom?
Oh, I'm not, I'm not sure if I'm gonna have poured cement, at this point, or, because I'm gonna have to blacktop the driveway again coming up, and it's just a matter of coming up with funds next year to do that. Yeah, but if you want to come out and take a look, because, like that's, I was actually moving the shed back a little bit more, that's, you know, over there.
Okay, so
there's-
it looks like you've got a little bit of an incline, but then it looks like it kind of levels off a little bit. Not really.
It goes
It's
higher,
hard to
yeah,
see.
it gets higher.
Do you,
I want it here.
Okay, all right.
There's
You
no
don't have a
existing
garage
garage on the property.
No,
you couldn't put
All
it
right,
like
well, that's an
on your
important point,
driveway?
too.
like,
That's the
that-
front of
maybe
the
that,
house.
is that a
Well,
little
his
bit?
stairs there.
And
but
the door,
Let's stay.
Yeah, that's the
first door.
front door,
Wants to
and
leave
then
this
the
open. This is the front of
steps
the
go
house.
up and there's another
Can you do me a favor? I'm not gonna
Most
get there
certainly,
this,
yes, yeah.
I'm not gonna get there this weekend. It will probably be the following weekend. Can you stake it out? Can you put some kind of, be ready to put some kind of stakes where you're proposing
Where I'm
this?
proposing it, yeah,
Just so we
actually,
can
I-
make the visit as productive as
actually,
possible.
Yeah, like you can see, I actually ran
Oh,
the
the
string.
string, perfect,
and,
that's fine.
You know, I, like you can see where I
Yep.
put that there, that's gonna be,
That will be helpful. Okay.
And if you have 7 iPhones available.
At the next meeting, yeah.
Okay,
Thank
so, do you need to have, can we review it month.
This is where he has his...
We need to see this again.
Yeah, so we'd like to have you come back for another review next month.
Another review, and
Yes.
then
Public hearing would be
so
in,
we're talking getting it going in October.
Potentially. I know, but
Yeah, I know.
I'm not agreeing with this, so.
Right, okay.
I think you want to be able to address our concerns, because
Yes,
this is
definitely,
significant. All right, we don't need all of these sets of pictures, we just need one set for the file, so.
I got it.
Okay.
I gave her one.
Oh, you gave her one? Okay. All right.
You can bring them back so we can do them.
I'll hold on to my set, so that when I come out there, I'll.
bring it back, I think that's, or add to it. But again, when we advertise, we have to make sure we know what we're advertising.
Right, we gotta be clear what we're doing, because if we decide when I'm out there that maybe there's a different place that makes more sense, you don't wanna be advertising for the wrong thing. And I just wouldn't be able to, I've gotta bring a daughter back to college, so I just can't get out there soon enough, okay?
Yep, that's fine.
All right, so we'll see you next month. Sorry.
Next month, yep.
but we gotta do something that makes the most sense. Item number 19.
Okay.
Appeal 3697 Pecourt, Gregory Pecourt, 27 Flower Road, Hopewell Junction, is requesting a special permit for an in-home professional office, a real estate broker, pursuant to section 194-90 of the zoning ordinance. Good evening.
How you doing?
Good,
Nice
how are
to
you?
see you, Mr. Drummond.
Yes. Jen is here, by the way, somewhere.
Oh, she is? Oh, okay, I'll say hi.
Yeah. Jen, just so you know, my daughter had Mr. Pecourt as a teacher.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I'm looking to, actually open up, it's more of a virtual real estate brokerage.
Right.
Because now there's not really, in my case, you don't go to an office and bring people, you meet them at a house to sign paperwork. So I just wanted this to match up with New York State Division of
What they require.
Licensing, with what they require, correct?
We understand that. Our questions are going to be along the lines, are you going to have employees? Is there a dedicated workspace that you're going to be
Yes,
saying, or will you have employees? Answer that question.
yes, well, I have a couple, I have a couple
So
agents.
somebody will actually be coming to your home and
No.
parking there?
No.
Oh, that's
So-
what we're
So it's
asking.
not, it's an independent contractor, not an employee.
Okay.
I guess that's the difference, but no, they won't be coming to my house.
Because then we have to talk about, do you have enough parking area?
I see,
So
I
that,
see.
will you have clients coming to your home?
No,
Okay.
no,
So again,
You're not gonna have an assistant secretary type kind of person working on it?
no, unless my wife wants to help me out, but probably no.
They work for free, don't they?
Yeah. Hey. Uh-oh. We'll table that.
Are you going to sign out front?
Yes.
I mean, that needs to be in your request as well, then.
Oh, the sign? Okay.
How big of a sign?
That, I asked the town, and they were looking it up for me, so they said after this meeting, they would give me the guidelines to how big the sign's gonna be.
But it's in the code. when we
For the
approve it.
professional office, John, we
It's
have to
2 feet
approve
by
the
2
sign for
feet, I
professional
think.
office.
Yeah, we've done it.
Is it 2 by 2?
I think so, off the top
We
of my
had
head.
somebody, a
2
mortgage
foot by
broker.
2 foot?
There's a-
No, I think it's right thing.
Again, they'll give you the guideline, which is fine.
They will, okay, no
But
problem.
we need to make sure that it goes in
I don't
the
have my code book with
advertisement.
me, but
I agree.
on the section which is referenced in here that allows
Right.
professional office, one of the subsections in there tells you how big your sign can be. And off the top of my head, it's 2 feet by 2 feet.
Mortgage
Okay.
broker. Mortgage broker?
Right, but they didn't want to sign.
Tara's looking it up, she'll tell you.
Right.
Okay.
Let's see if I'm right. We're wrong on the other comment I made.
Pam will look it up first, that's fine. Is there, so there's really nobody's coming to your home, there's no
No.
impact, just for the state's purposes, you need to, an official designated space.
Correct.
With an approval.
Yep.
We've seen this before, so.
Motion to advertise.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So we'll see you next month, just look for Pam will give you your instructions for your sign.
Okay. That's right, Wednesday. Thank you.
Is that it?
No, there's a second call.
Second call? Yes, did you have another question? Sure.
Okay, so you'll call me before you come out? You have my number?
Oh, yeah, I have it on the
So
application.
do you know if it'll be Saturday or Sunday, or does it, whatever, I'll
It
make
would
sure
be
I'm
late
available.
it'll be late in the day, whenever it is.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay? So, but
Great.
I'll give you a heads up.
Okay,
Don't
great,
worry.
thank you.
And you can tell me it's not convenient, don't worry about it.
No,
We'll have a couple weeks to work with.
with.
We'll have a couple weeks to work with.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
so we're doing a second call for
Robert Hamel.
Nobody.
Solar.
solar panel, okay. Item number 12, Appeal 3688, Henshaw. Going
Second.
once?
Nobody's
going
here,
twice,
so-
There's a no-show. Yes, directing PM to send a letter. Please.
Asking her respectfully to send her a letter.
I said please, wait a second.
You can
Motion
direct
to-
All
her.
right, is that a motion to adjourn? Second? All in favor? Aye, thank you, everyone.